before you skip to the end to go validate your opinion or tell me I'm wrong, at least let me give a few disclaimers for this tier list. First things first, this is just my opinion. This is my opinion as a person who has played in high-level NAEU rank and watches Spectate the Pros on Asia server frequently and also watches tournaments all the time. That is just my unique perspective that I bring to the table. Second off, I'm not going to be right about everything. I'm just a regular person, and this is just simply my opinion at the end of the day. You are completely fine to disagree. Just be civil about it. Don't be mean to people. Other people have different takes from you. Some people think some characters are stronger. Some people think some characters are weaker. This is not an objective tier list. This is just my opinion. So don't start causing wars in the comments, please. Let's just keep it civil. Thirdly, this is going to be looking at the characters just in a rank setting, not in a tourney setting. Some characters are stronger in tourney, some characters are weaker in tourney, so please keep that in mind. I'm also going to be assuming just for this list that Goatman and Hullabaloo are always being banned, and if you have 3 options, usually Ivy or Opera are being banned. So those are going to be the ban assumptions going into this, so those matchups I'm not really going to be paying attention to too much. With that being said, let's just get right into the tier list. Here we are. This is season 38 of IDV Survivor tier list. And this one's going to be very, very difficult because there were a lot of changes this season to characters and persona web adjustments, making some hunters stronger, some survivors stronger. And there's going to be some controversial takes on this list, that is for sure. So I guess be ready for that. It is completely fine to disagree with me, but don't start calling people, names in the comments for disagreeing with you. It's just an opinion list at the end of the day. But this is going to be our ranking criteria to kind of give you a bit of an idea of what the criteria is. We don't have a D tier because I don't really think any survivor is necessarily completely worthless. I think all survivors can be viable. This is more of a list of who's more viable than others. So to start things off with C tier is basically just, this is a weak survivor. They can work, but they just are weak, and you're going to have to put in a lot of effort or have a good matchup. A lot of this is going to be like matchup dependent. Sometimes like maybe their ability isn't bad, but it doesn't match up well into a lot of hunters, so those survivors would fall into C tier. I don't know why this says B+. This should be B, and then this should be B+. Don't look at that. So we have the B tiers. These are just like, you're slightly, I would say A- is probably going to be where all our average level is at. The B+ are going to be like more niche survivors where it's like they're good, but they're a little more niche. A- I would say is like maybe slightly above average. A is going to be like very, very branched out because there's a lot of good survivors in this game, but there are also some that I just wouldn't rank in the same tiers. That's why we have 3 different A tiers. Then of course we have S tier for just the strongest survivors. And then we're going to have a top 5 survivors, just who I think are currently the top 5 best in the game. Again, this is being ranked toward the end of season 38, and to keep in mind, there are some upcoming buffs and nerfs to certain characters. Like I think Lucky Guy's getting nerfs, Melly's getting buffed, Escapologist is getting buffed. This is ranking these characters before these buffs. Patience also getting a very good buff. Goatman's getting a nerf. There are characters that are getting buffed and nerfed. I'm not taking account into those buffs and nerfs because I don't know if they're actually going to happen yet. They haven't hit the live server, so I'm just going to assume the latest patch, which was like near the beginning of season 38 with the new persona web adjustments and a ton of characters being buffed and nerfed. With that being said, I'm going to save Lucky Guy for later. Let's start with Doctor. I'm going to put Doctor in probably C tier. Yeah, she's still C tier to me. This character has no cutting ability. That is just straight up. In a meta where hunters are getting stronger and stronger, Doctor is bad. Now, that's not to say that she's worthless. Like I still think this character can work. She does have her good matchups, but she has a lot of bad ones too. Again, keep in mind that every character here can work. It's just that Doctor against a really, really good hunter is maybe going to make a heal off, I would say at best once, maybe twice in a kite. And even then, it's just going to be really, really hard to make her work. Now, touch effect does really help this character a lot, so it makes me want to potentially put her into B tier. But every single Doctor that I've seen, which is very rare, by the way, she's very, very rarely picked. Every single Doctor that I've seen usually dies very, very fast, unless she has a good matchup, of course. So I don't really think I can rate her much higher than a C. Again, this one might just be because I haven't seen enough of her. but this is where I would put her for now. Next up, we're going to have Lawyer, and I think Lawyer is very good. And I think I'm gonna have to put him A tier. Now, I want to put him in A+, because he has like 6 abilities, basically, right? He has a passive speed buff, he has a decoding buff, he has a vaulting buff, he has veteran speed bonus, he has map to see where the hunter is so he can't get mind gamed and he can rotate really well, and he can't get terror shocked. So he basically has 6 small little abilities that all comes together to make a really, really strong character, and I kind of want to put him in A+. But the issue is, actually no, I think I'll put him in A+. So he's probably gonna be toward the bottom of A+. This character is really good. He's been used a lot less recently just because, hunters are getting stronger. And when he gets found out, he really can't kite that long. Like, I think he can force blink, but, he's just been shown to not be as strong as he used to be. Like, back when he first got his initial buffs, he was like everywhere. Lawyer was like literally everywhere, dude. But it's weird. I'm actually not entirely sure. I think even I asked B4U Schmitty about this, and he was saying that, like, yeah, I think Lawyer is still very underrated. The only team that uses him in tournaments still, again, this isn't a tournament list, but, the strength of characters are reflected somewhat in tournaments. This character is barely used in tournaments anymore. Like, people will just pick other characters over him, and I think that's the biggest reason now. I actually might bump him back down to A now I think about it. There's just better decoders. Right now, there just are. There are 2 decoders specifically that are just way better than Lawyer right now. But I don't think Lawyer will ever be bad. I think I'm just going to leave him in A for now. Because, again, this character is very, very rarely played. And the issue is, like, even though he has, like, a lot of good abilities, there are so many hunters now that can just deal with him. There are just so many that can deal with him. There's a lot of just fast hunters now. And Lawyer just, unfortunately, doesn't add enough to the team to the point where he just... He can't change a game, I guess, basically. He can stabilize a game by decoding, he can, like, do average kites, but I just feel like he's just very average, or, like, slightly above average, but doesn't have any, like, game-changing thing about him, except for, like, hiding and rotation. But hunters at top level don't get don't get rotated as hard, because they're so used to rotations, don't get hit enough as often. And about Lawyer, though, Lawyer's kind of a complicated character to rank in this meta. Next up, I would put Thief, and this one might be a little controversial. I think Thief is the worst character in the game. I'm going to try to order the tiers, by the way, to the best of my ability. I don't know if it'll be super accurate, but I'll try. I think Thief sucks. His ability isn't, like, the worst on paper, but I'm telling you, dude, like, he has probably the worst matchup chart in the entire game. Because, like, against his good matchups, like, I feel like Night Watch, Geisha, he can actually cook pretty well. But there are so many hunters that can just, like, very easily ignore his abilities or just moonwalk away, thinking, like, Anne can just throw cats away from him, jump on top of him. Wax Artist can just shoot him from afar and moonwalk. Hermit can just not be in his flashlight range and just hit him. And that's just, like, 3 random hunters that I can just think off the top of my head. Percy's, like, hard counters, like, a lot of harasser-based characters. He just chart attacks on top of the Thief, and the Thief dies. Like, the Thief just has so many bad matchups. He does have a lot of tricks and a lot of good spots where he can use flashlight setups and whatnot. But his matchup chart across the board is just, it's so bad. I'm sorry. I think this character is so bad. Dream Witch absolutely destroys him, because you can't shine the flashlight into her face if she's not active on that follower, and if it's just chasing you by following main body, you're just cooked. And yeah, that just feels bad. Thief just feels really, really bad to play. Again, every survivor can work, but Thief just has, like, probably the worst matchup chart across the board in my personal opinion. So I would put him in C tier. Next up, we're gonna have Gardener, and I think Gardener is pretty strong. I think I would probably put Gardener in maybe A+. I might put her at top of A for now. I might rearrange this a little bit later depending on what other characters I see. Gardener is very strong, though, because first off, at the beginning of the match, she has a 50-second bubble. And against a lot of characters, that can be really, really good to help you, like, position. And if you can get, like, a late bubble hit, that's really good. Like, if you get your bubble hit at, like, 40 seconds, that's really, really good. Most good hunters are just going to wait it out at that point, but there are some that, will just take it or take the hit for, like, presence, or they want their insolence charge up, so they'll hit the bubble or whatever. But But this character is very solid because she's quite adaptable. The bubble is very strong. It can be used for like guaranteed rescues, which is really, really good. At least if the hunter's not like a chip hunter. Like she's really good against wrestling against Clown. I know a lot of people hate wrestling against Clown, and Clown's been very, very popular in this meta after his buff. And she's really good at wrestling from him. But the thing about Garner is she just has like a little bit of everything, right? She has a vaulting boost. She has a longer chair time. Those raw stats really help. The bubble is really, really good against, top hunters like Sangria, even though Sangria is banned quite a bit. But, fast hunters, she can just drop pallet and then, get the bubble ready. Like, the bubble is very versatile and it can be very, very good. The rushdown hunters, she does struggle a little bit against, and the chip hunters she'll struggle against a little bit because she can't really set up her bubble. So she doesn't have the greatest matchup chart, and in rank, it can be pretty hard to use this character, but with good teamwork, I think it's possible to make her work, which is why I don't think I can put her in A+, but I think she is a very good survivor. And never really a bad start to have on your team. Moving on, though, next up is going to be Magician. Magician, in my personal opinion, is a actually very close contender to top 5. I'm going to put him in S tier for now. I might do top 5 at the very ending. I'm not sure. Magician is dummy strong. His buff made him so good that I don't see how you play Magician and you don't force blink. I don't see it. Like, unless you're Tide Magician, maybe. But yeah, lots of Magicians are carrying Tide now because his kiting is so strong. And I will say, Magician has one of the best matchups into like all the hunters. He can kite pretty much every hunter. I think he struggles, I've heard he struggles a bit with Wax Artist. And then maybe like 1 or 2 more. But overall, this character has like an amazing matchup into most hunters because Wand is just such a very good ability. Just setting it up in pallets, if the hunter swings at the wand, you get a speed boost. You can mind game super well with it. You get a bigger speed boost than before, and then you get a secondary speed boost when the hunter hits your wand. That buff that he got a while back really, really, really helped him. He turned from like, I would say, a low A tier survivor to a very, very good survivor. Now, he doesn't really have much support capabilities, I will say. So I don't really know if I want to put him in top 5, but in terms of like solo contain and honestly rescuing, he's very good. He is undeniably S tier right now in this current meta, if you ask me. He is extremely safe, very, very solid kiter character. Next up is going to be Explorer. This one's going to be a bit controversial. I think Explorer is very good. I think he's the second best decoder right now. I think he is very, very, very strong. Explorer got a buff, basically, to like where if you are small, nothing's going to locate you. Like in the past, I think some things you look at, like Hullabaloo Clone used to locate him. Not that really Hullabaloo should be played at all. He should be banned. I think like Feast or Tentacle or like Sculptor or something. Some things found him, right? I think the only thing that spots him out now is like Ancat, which because it's just freaking Ancat, and they're just never gonna let Anne have any debuff at all. But yeah, Explorer is just very, very good because hiding. Now he's a little map dependent, I will say. He has to be played on like good maps, but when he gets those maps, like he's so good. He can bring Tide borrowed. He can literally be a backup rescuer. He should never be your solo rescuer, but he can be a backup rescuer because he can just like slowly approach the chair and get the rescue without being found, which allows him to get to said chair, which is really, really good. His decoding is very fast. Like he can obviously pick up the pages. He counters abnormal, and he decodes faster. Every single calibration he gets gives like a little extra boost to the cipher progress. I forget how much it was, but I think it was like 0.6 or 0.7 gets done. So like he decodes like, if you get like 5 to 7 calibrations on average, which I think is like how many calibrations you usually get when decoding a cipher, you'll finish that cipher like 5 to 7% faster or so, or somewhere around there. And then you obviously have your pages. So I think when this character is played at top level, I think he is very, very strong. Obviously, being a decoder really helps as well. But what also is really good about Explorer is that he doesn't give a lot of information to the hunter. Because how hunters, like for basic like game sense, hunters will look at ciphers a lot to see like where the rescuer is coming from to try to cut them off. But it's a lot harder when you have an explorer, because an explorer might not be on a cipher. He might be digging up a page. So you only see one cipher being worked on. So it's like, okay, where's the rescuer coming from? Sometimes like, I don't know if they mix it up or whatever. And I was like, what if the explorer's coming to rescue? A lot of explorers bring Tide. What if he's coming to rescue? So it makes the hunter kind of play this guessing game. A lot of hunters will bring Wanted Order to counter Explorer, and that I think is his biggest weakness, is Wanted Order. That and getting found out early. If you get found out early as Explorer, you're kind of cooked. So it's a little risky, but like typically Explorers know how to not get found. And I think when this character works, he is very, very strong. It's just when you get found out, you're kind of cooked, honestly, which makes me kind of want to put him down into A tier. But trust me when I say this character is very, very strong in this meta. He is so very strong. He's even being played like round 1 in tournaments a lot, just because of like they want to out gimmick the hunter more than cutting hunters and whatnot. So again, this isn't tournament, but the same logic does apply. If you can out gimmick the hunter by hiding, that can buy so much time, you know. Especially since it's just present starving. And some hunters, you know, some hunters don't mind if it's like a Soul Weaver, she'll get a ton of webs, so she doesn't mind too much, but other hunters are gonna be suffering if they can't find that Explorer, that's for sure. Next up we have Mercenary, and in my opinion, Mercenary is undeniably a top 5 character in rank. He is like universally good against almost every single hunter. He has a few bad matchups, I would say like Percy, and Clown. And I think that's it. I don't think he has many other bad match. Like most other things don't chase. I guess maybe Wheels chase him, but like he has vaulting boost to deal with it. I don't know. If you chase a Mercenary as well, like that's just really, really bad for you. If there's a single harasser on the team, they can buy so much time for that Mercenary. Like chasing Mercenary is not the best, honestly. Like unless you're just a character that can chase Mercenary, which is very, very few of them. Chasing Mercenary is just not very good. This character can eat detention hit and just walk out the gate. He is one of the safest rescuers in the game. He can make rescues that are so far away thanks to Elbow Pad. Obviously, he's not as broken as he used to be, but like this character will always undeniably be top 5 in my opinion because he is just such a safe pick. He is just such a safe pick. And the thing about Mercenary as well is that just his base kit alone, the delay damage is so strong. Because for a lot of hunters, if the rescuer gets terror shocked, the game is usually over, right? If you have an average kite, let's say the kiter forces blink and the rescuer gets stuffed, the hunter should most of the time win that game. In most situations, the hunter should win that game. At worst, they will draw. But with Mercenary, if the kite was good, you should still be able to draw. Like he does get double down, which has been unfortunate. But you should still be able to draw without too much trouble. Because like, you have to fight for a draw for, like, you know, other rescue and stuff. But Mercenary, he gets TS, he still gets the rescue, right? He's the only character in the game that can really do that outside of like, you know, Puppeteer, like maybe Knight with like a shield or something. I don't know. Very, very few other characters can get TS and still make the rescue, right? And he's one of the very few. So I would undeniably put Mercenary in top 5. Again, he does have his debuff, the minus 25 on decoding. The healing debuff really does hurt him, but it is worth it for his strengths. And there are just countless times where I've seen games go from losses to ties just because of Mercenary, and same thing, ties to wins because of Mercenary difference. Having a character that can just, especially in the end game, wait in the middle to like feed tinnitus for somebody on the chair and then just walk out the gate with like very little threat is so strong. So he's able to play so safe. You're able to play so safe with Mercenary. He is undeniably top 5 and will always be top 5 in my opinion. Next up is going to be Priestess. Now Priestess, this is going to be a bit of a spicy take as well. I think Priestess is not S tier. I know this is a bit of a weird one, but first off, a lot of hunters aren't even banning Priestess anymore. Second off, I will not deny that Priestess is still a very, very strong character, but she has definitely fallen from grace. That needs to be said. I would still put her S tier on certain maps. Like if it's Chinatown, I would 100% put her S tier. But I think like if we're talking overall, I would put her A+. Just because her kiting is not that strong. It really isn't. Her support is very, very good, but her kiting is just not that good. There are so many hunters that can rush her down right now that she just can't really kite well. Not to mention her vaulting debuff really does hurt her with those kites as well. And she also has the, you know, the decoding debuff. The healing does help. Her support, again, is very, very strong. She is probably one of, if not the best supporter in the game. Maybe not the best, but you know, one of the best. And Global Portal obviously is completely game-changing if it goes off. But a lot of hunters don't really worry about that nowadays. Warp really did hurt that as well. Like some hunters can just kill you and then they'll just warp if they ever go through the Priestess portal. I don't know. It's like, she's not as strong as she used to be. She's undeniably still A+ to me because when her support does work, it kills the hunter. It really does, depending on what it is. But it's very like a hunter dependent trait-dependent, map-dependent type character, which is the case for, you know, every survivor, but some are universally like better on others. Like Mage is like not super map-dependent. He's very good on most maps. Whereas Priestess, I feel like, you know, you got to play her on her good maps, and on her worst maps, you don't really want to have a Priestess. And even if you're not playing her on her best map, like I don't think she's like, I don't know if she's like insane on Leo's memory. I don't think she's like super good, but I think she's like pretty solid. I know she's like mediocre on arms, but it's best to keep this character played to her best maps, like I would say Chinatown and whatnot. Maybe some of the bigger maps like Moonlit as well. I don't know. Again, still a very strong survivor, but I do not think that she is S tier. But again, her support is undeniably extremely strong. Next up is going to be Coordinator. This one is going to make a lot of people mad, but trust me when I say Coordinator is S tier. Coordinator is S tier, and for the foreseeable future, she will always be S tier. The reason why Coordinator is S tier is, first off, look at top level Asia server. She's played a lot. She's played so often. She is a rescuer that does not need to bring Tide. You heard me right? She does not need to bring Tide. Most rescuers in this game do need to bring Tide to her. She is one of the ones that doesn't have to. Coordinator is so versatile. She can be played into any role. She has 100% decoding, which is really, really strong unless somebody's on chair. So there is like a little bit of a weakness to her, but you know, on average, she has 100% decoding, which keeps up the Cypher Rush. And half the time she's going into rescue, so she doesn't even care about the decoding debuff. But her raw kiting is very strong. She has a 10% vaulting boost. Every 40 seconds, she gets a 4-second or a 10% 4-second speed boost whenever she approaches a powder window, which is also very strong and increases her vaulting as well. She has a longer chair time by 10%, which is also very good. So if she gets chased, you have a little extra chair time to work with for your rescuer. And then of course, gun. Now, when I was in the like mid tiers and low tiers, I always like buff Coordinator because she only has one item. And that is very, very silly actually. Because gun is insanely game changing, dude. It is insanely game changing. Because what is one of the hardest things to do in this game? It is hard to rebound. If the rescuer does not body block for you or at least force attack recovery, it can be so hard to rebound in this game. Coordinator allows you to rebound by giving you distance, by getting the rescuer, or by either shooting the gun, getting the rescue, or then even better, getting the rescue and then shooting the gun. You're able to secure so much distance to that person who is on the chair. And that distance can mean the difference between a game or not, because they might not be able to make it to a powder window if they just, you know, get the instant rescue and then there's no attack recovery. They might just get farmed. But Coordinator is just so good at preventing that. And then, you know, most Coordinators at top level, I think, do bring bar time flywheel, so she can, you know, flywheel for a very, very clutch moment against certain hunters. And then the gun, when used in kiting, is also very strong, because what most Coordinators will do, and I see a lot of people blaming Coordinators for this, I think it's very foolish that they do. Coordinators will shoot early a lot of the time. Shooting early is not bad, because what happens is if a hunter chases you first, when there's a better target nearby, it's a very clear indication, or a very solid indication, that the hunter might have excitement, right? And excitement has an initial 40-second cooldown. If you shoot before excitement is ready and there's no other stunner on that team, the hunter has a useless trait unless you pallet stun them. And that's it. Like, that's it. Like, just have a useless trait. You'll see this in tournaments a lot, where Coordinator will shoot at like 20, 30 seconds in, get a ton of distance, and then the hunter has excitement, and then it's just like, okay, now what? Now what are they? They're just a traitless hunter. They just don't have a trait, like, unless they go for a pallet stun. There's just no trait. But trust me when I say this, Coordinator is so strong. She should almost always at least force blink, or at least force a trait, which is just really, really solid. And her raw kiting is just so good. Like, she can be played as a kiter and as a rescuer, and if she needs to, she can just like decode. Like, this character is so strong, and she can harass too with gun. She can be a harasser. Like, she's so versatile. She can fit into every single role. And I personally think she's one of the best ranked survivors that you could ever play. She's so good. Now, you gotta have some patience, because hunters will try to bait out that gun. There's a lot of hunters that will try to bait out that gun no matter what. And there are some that are like really difficult. Like, there are some hunters that, like, I guess sort of counter her, or at least can be really tricky. Like, I know Sculptor can be annoying, because if she's spamming statues, it can be really hard to take a good shot. Percy, obviously, he can just keep swinging and swinging, so you have to find the right timing. You know, Hellember can set up the flame guy, the flame bro, his shadow, whatever you want to call it, and block the flare gun that way. So there's definitely counterplay to the gun, but the patient Coordinators usually are able to get their gun off without too much trouble. And the gun is a game-changing ability. It is so game-changing. That's why she only gets one of them. It is completely game-changing. So yeah, I know a lot of people don't understand this, and I think they think Coordinator deserves a buff. But trust me when I say, I've seen so much tournaments, so much top-level Aegis server gameplay that Coordinator is undeniably S tier in rank. Next up is going to be Mechanic, and Mechanic is a contender in my opinion for top 5, but I'm going to put her in S tier for now because I want to wait. Mechanic is broken, dude. This is another one. There's a lot of people who think she's very, very weak. This character's broken. This character is undeniably broken. She is so stupid. If you don't chase Mechanic, you get a draw best. Unless you stuff a rescue, that is it. Her Cypher Rush is insane. If the Mechanic knows what she's doing, like, we are under the assumption that all these characters know what they're doing, right? Like, mistakes can happen, but like, there's not like people who don't know what they're doing, right? And Mechanic can also be played in a lot of different ways. If you chase the Mechanic, you know, you look at somebody like Persica, and obviously that's Persica. We're talking about the best Mechanic player in the world. But she turns that character into a 4-hit survivor. And there's a lot of other mechanics that can, you know, maybe aren't as consistent as Persica, but can do the same thing. They can be very, very good with their bot body blocks. And that's the thing about this character, is she can be played in like 2 different ways. You can play her by bot body blocking, or you can play her as a decoder. And depending on where you spawn, what the map is, what your team comp is, and what hunter you're against, either strat is viable. I think a lot of people also argue about the best way to play Mechanic, and it literally is just, the answer is just, it depends. It depends on the 4 things I just said: maps, team comp, hunter you're up against, and where you spawned. Those 4 things determine whether you should bot body block or not. And I'm not going to list the correct answers on all of them because I personally don't know all of them. You could watch like Persica and see how she does it, but trust me when I say Mechanic is S tier. Her Cypher Rush is insanely fast. And I will say it does feel bad when the hunter kind of like rushes down your team and you're playing Mechanic, then you just get like terrible decoding buffs. But again, we're under the assumption here that like most people know what they're doing and people aren't getting like, they're not bots and getting TS'd at 5 ciphers like my first officer against Clown or something. But yeah, Mechanic Cypher Rush is so stupid. She's banned a lot because people just don't want to deal with her. She's pretty weak at kiting, but trust me, like if a Mechanic gets a bot out and the hunter doesn't find it and she does like a 30-40 second kite, you can still draw without too much trouble because her bot is out, it's decoding, and it's pushing ciphers while she's on the chair. She is the only person that can push decoding from the chair, because in this game, usually when somebody's on the chair, only 2 people are decoding. If there's still 4 people alive, only 2 people are decoding, right? Now with the Mechanic, there's 3 usually, which is just really, really stupid. And the bot decodes at the 90%. I think it's 90% as a regular survivor would, so it decodes very fast. And good mechanics make sure that their bots don't blow up the cipher every like 2 seconds either. So yeah, this character's banned a lot. She's played a good amount at top level, and I'm not gonna deny that she's hard. She is quite tricky. I wouldn't say she's the hardest character in the game, but she's very, very tricky. But she is, in my opinion, undeniably S tier. Along with, this one might be a little controversial. I think Forward is S tier right now in this meta. But he's probably one of the hardest characters to play in this game. I mean, harassers are very, very hard. Forward is very hard. He is very, very hard. His controls, his positioning, it requires so much to play this character. You need to have people in the right area. You gotta watch out for the hunter's trait. You gotta watch out for all of their abilities, their positioning. Forward is, in my opinion, he is one of the most consistent harassers in this game, probably next to Antiquarian. And when Forward is on the Survivor team, it's funny. Forward, I think, has the highest Survivor win rate when it comes to like him being played in like top level Aegis server and EU even. I think Forward players have the highest win rate because he is so game changing. He is the most game changing harasser in the game because his stuns, when they go off, last forever. It's like, if he gets a 100% ball, that's a longer than a flare gun. Even a 50% stun is like, what, a 4.5 second stun? That's a very long stun. It is very, very, very long. And that's the thing about Forward, is like his stuns just last forever. And even if you're in a pinch, especially against like certain characters, you can always stun on chair. Stunning on chair is so strong versus camping hunters. For example, Bonbon. Bonbon's camp is so strong. If you have a forward on your team and the kiter forces blink versus Bonbon, and if your forward is positioned, stun on chair, get the instant rescue, and then just sell afterwards. That way you don't have to play the stupid after half thing with Bonbon. You don't have to play like his stupid sell from the beginning. You can just stun on chair. And stunning on chair is so strong. Like, it doesn't really buy as much time for decoding, but like I said, one of the best ways for hunters to win in this game is stuffing rescues. And forward can stun on chair at half health and still get the rescue, which is insanely strong. It's so incredibly strong. His harassment is so good. His kiting is pretty good too. He does have bad matchups. I won't deny he does have bad matchups. There are characters that can deal with him like Anne and whatnot. But even then, the characters that can't deal with him, he can still force abilities. For example, like a Hermit will have to respect a forward and waste his stuns and then like waste time for him to like put 2 stuns down or something so the forward can't harass. Or like an Anne, right? And Anne will have to either throw cats at the forward and try to, you know, seal his ability, or put the cats back down onto the survivor, so if he does harass, they just fall into the cats and then just immediately get hit again. Or the forward, you know, just gets stunned because he can't actually hit the Anne through the cat range, which is actually, that's the option that would happen, unless the cross doesn't come back in time. But yeah, he can still buy time by harassing and still force out hunter abilities and still buy time that way, and then maybe get the rescue a little bit later. He can also be played from very safe distance as well. Like a lot of harassers have to be very up close, like Antiquarian and whatnot. But forward can harass from a distance. He has to find that like sweet middle ground, but he has a little more safer spot than some other characters like Antiquarian and Prospector. Some other harassers got to be like up and close and personal, even badder sometimes. But yeah, forward's undeniably S tier in rank. I think he's so insanely strong and needs to be respected. Especially if it's a good one. Like you gotta respect the forward, dude. You just have to respect forward. Next up is Mind's Eye, and I'm gonna put Mind's Eye in. Mind's Eye is probably, she's B tier. This character, I'm sorry, Shad, if you're watching, this character is not good. Most people would say that Mind's Eye is the worst character in the game. I think I'm gonna put her as 3rd worst. Actually, I might put Doctor ahead of her. I might put her as 2nd worst. I still think Thief is worse. Because at least there's, like, Mind's Eye, realistically is never really played at top level. And the only time she really is played is, like, Sacred Heart Hospital in mid. Like, that's the only time she's really played at top level. Even in tournaments, I think I've seen Mind's Eye on Hospital, but it's very, very rare. Her decoding is very, very fast, 23% boost. But again, Mechanics is faster. It just is. Mechanic is just way, way, way faster. So if you want to play a decoder, just play, like, this character, Mind's Eye, is literally just worse Explorer in every way. Explorer, I'm sorry, is just a better Mind's Eye in every single way possible. He is so much better at hiding, and he can't even rescue. Mind's Eye, like, she's so bad. She has no kiting. Her vaulting, this guy doesn't have any debuffs. Explorer has no debuffs. Mind's Eye has debuffs. She has a huge vaulting debuff, and Kane, not that good, and her little speed boost doesn't really do that much for her. So many hunters can just rush her down, absolutely destroy her. You're basically just playing a character with just like a trash kiting debuff. And again, you can make her work, but she has terrible matchups across the board. And unless she spawns in the strongest area, she's cooked. She's dead. Like she's just straight up dead. She's not good. I'm sorry. She's just not a good survivor. She's just not good. I don't know what else to say. Everybody knows this. She's not good. Next up is going to be Perfumer. And this one, I'm going to put Perfumer in probably the top of A. I think there's a chance that she could be A+, but Perfumer got a lot better with the recent buff being Touch Effect. Touch Effect is very, very good on like the healing-based characters like Barmaid, Psychologist, Perfumer, and Doctor. Those characters are really, really good with Touch Effect, and Perfumer, whenever she goes back, now gets a nice little speed boost, which can be really, really helpful in cutting certain hunters, because you already get the speed boost from getting hit, but then you get the second speed boost from Touch Effect. I would say Perfumer is probably the character that benefits from Touch Effect the most, and I think right now in the meta, she's quite good. She's quite versatile. You can bring Flywheel or Knee Jerk. I've even seen some Perfumers bring Tide. I wouldn't personally recommend this, but you can bring it. And she has really good matchups across the board. Most basic hit hunters have to respect a Perfumer all the time. And even a lot of projectile hunters have to respect her her perfumes as well. The chip hunters she does struggle a little bit with. Like I know Bonbon, I don't think she's the greatest against Bonbon, and Sculptor might be a little tricky too. But I would say in general, this character is a very safe character, pretty easy character to play. You do need good ping, I will say. Like if you're trying to do it based on reactions, you will need good ping. But overall, Perfumer is just very solid. I don't really know what to say. You just click button and perfume a basic hit. She's very simple, and she's very strong. She does feed a lot of presence to the hunter, but like as long as her first kite is good, like it really shouldn't matter as long as you have a good rescuer. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Perfumer is just a good character. She has a lot of little tricks that she can do, like within 2-story areas or getting perfume for distance at half health. Yeah, she's good. She's very good. Only debuff she has is the healing, which isn't really that important because you're probably not going to be healing unless the hunter switches targets off a Perfumer, which is not going to be that often in this game because hunters don't really switch targets unless it's like, Hermit, Nightmare, and like a few others. I don't know. For the most part, I would say Perfumer is very strong though. Next up is going to be Cowboy, and I'm going to put Cowboy in A- tier. He might be B+. Cowboy's weird because on paper I feel like Cowboy's pretty good, but like he just kind of sucks. And like here's the thing, there's gonna be a lot of people think like, oh, he's a harasser, he can buy time, he should be higher. And I don't get me wrong, I think his harassment capability is pretty good. There's one small problem though, and that's hunters at top level can just react to his lasso. If you don't instant lasso with Cowboy, you're cooked. Most hunters at top level, they're gonna eye the Cowboy, and the second they see him lasso, they drop. If you're up against a good ping hunter, they'll get the drop in time, and then they'll just pick up and then chair, and that's it. That's the issue. That's the big issue with Cowboy's harassment. He can harass from a distance, which is very good, but like if the hunter has good ping and can react to lasso, they just drop, and then he just doesn't get the harassment off, and that's it. Now, if he gets instant lasso is very strong because during the pickup animation, once it's done, he can instant lasso the person and pick them up. That is very strong because there is no counterplay to instant lasso, except for just the Cowboy misses it. That's literally the only way. He just misses it, or you're like behind a wall. And that can buy time. However, what Cowboys try to do is they try to buy enough time for you to struggle, right? So what a Cowboy should do is pick you up, or like lasso you and then drop you down away from a chair so they have to like lasso again. The issue is Cowboy again also gets run down by a lot of hunters, and he can't really keep up without his own lasso. Like he needs to use his lasso to survive, but his lasso has a 10-second cooldown, so if his lasso is even forced out from the hunter, he can't harass anymore. Unlike, let's say, maybe Antiquarian, or I guess even Ford, you could force out his football and whatnot, but Antiquarian, she could harass once and then she body blocks, but then she has like a couple more flutes to use, or she can use the jump or something. Now that's why a lot of people carry Flywheel Cowboy to use the Flywheel to avoid a hit, but his harassment, it's just not as consistent as other characters. He can do it from safe distances, which is very strong, but it's the harassment itself that is not that strong because there's so much counterplay to it. So I can't put Cowboy any higher. There's a chance he could be even lower, but I think his kiting is pretty decent. But he also has a negative decoding debuff, which does hurt. Like I don't know why Cowboy has a decoding debuff, honestly, anymore. When you have characters like Norton that can also harass, I feel like Cowboy is kind of just like a worse version of Norton, honestly, because like Norton's harass is stronger. It's a little more dangerous and probably harder to pull off, but it's like a little more consistently powerful. Whereas Cowboy's is very weak. But you can do it from a safe distance, so you kind of you have good survivability with Cowboy, but then like Norton is like, I don't know, it depends on how much pressure you're applying, I guess. I don't know. Like Forward, for example, is very high risk, high reward, whereas Cowboy is very low risk, low reward, I think that's the best way to put it, whereas Norton is kind of mid-range, or like mid-risk, mid-reward. Something like that, I would say. Cowboy overall, I'd put him maybe A- for now. Dancer, I think, is very strong. I think Dancer is very good. I would probably put her... I would probably put her in A tier. I think Dancer is very strong. Obviously, needs to spawn in good areas. But trust me, like, when you have slow boxes set up and the kiter runs into it, it is a nightmare for the hunter. It really is. Like, if you have a dancer, let's say you're dueling with a female dancer and you spawn Shaq on Red Church, and you're a mechanic, right? You're a mechanic. And you drop your bot instantly and the hunter doesn't find it. You just go Red Church and the dancer has like 3 slow boxes set up and you make it to Graveyard. So you die and you kite in Graveyard, die in Graveyard, and then your bot starts decoding Shaq. Well, the dancer just only has to like rotate out of mid for a few seconds and then can start decoding again. And it's just, there's so many like combinations of stuff that you can do with that, with Dancer, or people transitioning into Dancer's boxes just to like have even more stuff to kite with. And I don't think Dancer's a bad kiter at all. She can like do the little pirouette with her boxes. She has the speed boost whenever she drops down from, from 2-story locations or any sort of elevation. So even I think like 4-stop, I think she gets the boost or something, like force and first stop. She gets the little speed boost or something. Overall, I think she's very strong, very versatile. I wouldn't call her game-changing, but her support is very good, and her kiting is like pretty decent. I wouldn't say she's broken, but she's strong. She's quite strong. Seer is, in my opinion, top 5. I think Seer he might just be like the best character in the game. Seer's banned all the time. There's a lot of people out there that think Seer's not that strong. I think even Zeus doesn't like Seer that much. I personally love Seer, and I think Seer will always be broken. Because to me, at least, there is no universe where you have a character, no matter if you chase him or not, if the Seer does well, it is a 3-hit survivor, no matter what you're chasing. And you know who a character that always everybody says is S tier? Psychologist, We'll write here later, but everybody says Psychologist S tier just because 3 hits buys so much time. Most people agree that Psychologist is S tier because she's almost a walking 3-cipher kite. Seer just does that for anybody with Owl. And he can use Owl on Rescue. Like, if Rescue looks really, really dangerous, just give the Rescuer Owl. The ability to turn any survivor onto your team into a 3-hit survivor is undeniably broken. And even though he's, again, kind of like Mercenary, has gotten nerfs, he has the decoding debuff, he has the vaulting debuff, stuff like that. Seer is undeniably one of the most game-changing survivors in the entire game. And there's no universe to me where he's not top 5. He is so good. He is insanely, insanely good. I don't know what else to say. He's just so good. Like, Owl is so broken. It just is. It literally just is. I'm not going to say he doesn't have bad matchups, but he has one of the best matchups across the board. And Seer Owl is one of the most game-changing abilities in the entire game. I don't know what else to say. Like, that's just straight up the truth. Seer is so good. He can save games just by a single Owl. A single Owl can just change the entire game. But yeah, Seer's top 5. Next up is Embalmer. Embalmer's weird. Okay, if this is tournament, I would put Embalmer like S tier, because Embalmer is one of the safest survivors in the entire game. But I don't know if I can put Embalmer in A+. I don't know. There's part of me that wants to, but the issue with Embalmer is he's a tie character at the end of the day. And I don't want to put a character that's consistent at drawing in A+. Like, if your character is broken for ties, I feel like I can only put him in A tier. I think he's probably... I'd say I'd put him, like, right behind Perfumer, I think. I think he definitely has a case to be stronger. He definitely does. Because the Cypher Rush with this character is stupid. Taking yourself off the chair is, like, really, really dumb. It's a broken ability. And he can get extra coffins for his teammates if he gets rescued. This character is just really weird. Because in most situations, when Embalmer is on your team and he gets first chase, unless there's like a good amount of harassment or his first kite is really, really good, which, most Embalmer's first kites are probably only going to be, they might not even force trait because he's a raw kiter at the end of the day. This character is very good for ties. That's all I can really say. Like, he's just so good at tying, which is why he's broken in tournaments, because a lot of survivors aren't aiming to win, they're aiming for ties. But in rank, when you want to win, you need a 3 escape. I don't feel like I can put him any higher than A tier. He is strong. He is game-changing, but I don't think I can put him any higher, because he is a draw survivor at the end of the day. Next up, it is going to be Prospector, and I'm going to put Prospector in A+ tier, probably right behind Priestess. He's probably better than Priestess, I don't know. I played so much Prospector this season, and I think he is very, very good. He has a lot of good matchups. He counters a lot of annoying hunters. He does have his bad matchups, I will say. Like, there are some matchups that are just very, very difficult for him. But this character, when played like at a top level, is very game-changing. His harassment and support is very, very strong. His kiting is, I think it's good, but I feel like it's a little weaker nowadays. It feels like his magnets, like, they don't charge fast enough, I will say. But I do think this character is very good. He should be able to force blink against most characters on first chase, because he usually gets 2 magnets if he's first chase, unless you just kite forever. You usually get around 2 magnets, and if you run Flywheel or Knee Jerk, you should be able to force out blink without too much trouble. And of course, again, unless it's a bad matchup. I think Prospector is very good. I do think he's not broken because his harassment is not as consistent as other characters. You kind of have to, like, the issue with Prospector is you kind of have to rely on your teammate dying in a good area. Whereas, like, forward and anti people know what to do. They're just like, oh, I'm up against the wall. That's all I need. But Prospector is weird because, like, you have to be in a position where the Prospector's range can stun the hunter up against a wall. But you don't want to be up against a wall yourself, usually against a Prospector, because it makes, like, the distance a little awkward. I don't know. Harassing with this character is very awkward. There's a lot of mind games that you can do with Prospector as well. I think he is one of the deepest, like, most in-depth harassers out there, I think, with how much magnet switching and magnet delaying that you can do. But I think he's quite strong. He just takes a very good player to play him at a high level, and I think he's very, very game-changing. I don't want to put him S tier because his magnets don't charge fast enough. He does have a handful of bad matchups, and he to me just doesn't seem like an S tier survivor, but I do think he's very strong. That's why I'm gonna put him in A+ tier. I do think Prospector is very good. Next up is going to be Enchantress. Now, Enchantress, this one's a bit weird because I haven't seen enough of her. This one I'm a little iffy on because she did get that recent buff, right? And she has been played a little bit more, but she hasn't been played, like, enough, right? She's still not being played a ton. There are still a lot of characters that are just better than her, but I think I might put her at the top of A- right now. And this one is just due to I think I put her in B tier last time. I'm gonna put her in A- here. She could be bottom of A, but, like, to me right now, I don't think Lawyer and Enchantress are on the same level. There's a very good argument that she could be, but this one might just be because I haven't seen enough of it, because at top level Asia server, I very rarely see Enchantress being played. And in NAEU, it feels like the extra stun really does help her. Like, she starts with a stun now, which is very important, which is why I don't think she's B tier anymore. But I don't still feel like she is the best because the cooldown in between her stuns is a little bit too long for, like, a lot of hunters that can just rush her down immediately. But I do think she became a lot more consistent after her buff, or I guess adjustment, I should say, because I think they buffed and nerfed her. But I do think she's better now, and I do think she's a pretty strong kiter, but I don't know if I can put her in A tier just yet. I think I'm gonna have to wait a little bit longer to see, and kind of let her cook a little bit longer to see. So that one might just be like a lack of knowledge on this one. So I'll leave her A- for now. Next up is going to be Wildling, and Wildling's kind of hard to rate. Wildling is a little hard to rate. Wildling in the past, I feel like, was very, very solid, but I feel like he's kind of losing his stocks nowadays. He does have quite a few bad matchups, I will say. I know Nightmare has been on the rise quite a bit, and he's very bad against Nightmare. Like, Nightmare's kind of like he uses Boar as a presence farm, basically. Like, he's very, very bad against Nightmare. Guys, all I'm saying is when you are a Wildling, please do not harass against Nightmare. Nightmares love it when you do that. I've had many Wildlings harass a Nightmare. Don't do it. Please don't harass the Nightmare. You are literally just walking presence for him. So don't do it. Gamekeeper he also struggles a little bit against, but I do think Wildling is still quite consistent, which is why I'm going to probably put him at the bottom of A+. He can harass, he can rescue pretty good. He has very good survivability on board. Masking Tennis is just very, very strong. In rank, I'm going to put him A+. There is a very real argument that he could be lower. I don't think he's going to be S tier for me. But he feels weaker nowadays. That's all I can really say. He feels weaker. His decoding is very, very slow. So if you pair him with any other slow decoder, it's going to feel pretty bad. But I do feel like he's quite versatile, and I want to leave an A+ because of just his survivability, and he can, harass and rescue pretty efficiently well. So yeah, I'll leave him an A+. I'll leave him an A+. He has a lot of good matchups, but quite a few bad ones as well. So overall, I don't know really what else to say about Wildling. I mean, he can harass, he can rescue, he can mastermind. That's kind of just his big thing. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward character. There is some depth to him and like whatnot, but I would say I'd probably put him overall A+. Next up is going to be Acrobat, and Acrobat to me is undeniably probably top of S tier, maybe top 5. Acrobat's so good. The thing about Acrobat that some people might not realize, but I think most people would agree on, is that this character probably has the best matchup chart in the entire game. I can't think of a single hunter in this game that Acrobat has a bad matchup into. Acrobat, like, his bombs are just so good. You can play him in any way that you want. Like, some people bring Tie to Acro because his kiting is so strong, which is totally justified. You can bring Flywheel, you can bring Knee Jerk, you can literally bring whatever you want on this character. Usually you should bring Borrowed Time. I don't think you should bring Sui Acro ever. Like, never bring, like, Rescue Flywheel or something. You should almost always have Borrowed Time on this character. But this character can do everything. He can rescue. Like, Firebomb is very good for rescuing. Slow Bomb is really good for kiting. Interaction Bomb is probably the weakest of the 3, but you can use it more for distance or going through a window or something, or breaking a pallet. The bomb after effects are very, very strong. Like, they need to be respected by the hunter. And the fact that this character, in a pinch, can just use bomb over pallet/window, it doesn't have to risk a Terror Shock or take any damage from it, is so incredibly important, dude. It is insanely important. You can blink predict with ball. This character, there's not a single hunter in this game where I would just say, yeah, Acro can't kite them. There might be ones that are a little bit harder, but Acro, like, he just is good against every hunter. Like, he has tools to beat every hunter. I think he's slightly stronger than Magician still. Maybe not as strong. I guess it depends. It's just like matchups and whatnot. Like, Mage is played more often in tournaments because his matchups are better into like Goat, Hulla, and whatnot. And I think Ivy too. Whereas like Acro is still good versus all, though Mage is like a little bit better. But like in general, Acrobat's just he's just an insane kiter. I don't know what to say. He's just an insane kiter. He's just, I don't know. That's it. His kiting is so good. The only debuff he has is like the gate, and that does hurt. Like the gate debuff minus 30% does hurt on gate. But his kiting is so good. Like there's no excuse, in my opinion, for an Acrobat to never force trait. Like Acrobat should always force trait. Unless the hunter has like TP or excitement, Acrobat should always force trait if it's blink or warp, no matter what. Like there's no excuse. Acrobat should always force trait. He's just that good of a survivor. Like the only way is if he just gets hard mind gamed or messes up. Otherwise, he should always force trait. He's just a very, very strong survivor. I don't know what else to say. He's just very strong. Next up is First Officer. First Officer is in S tier to me. I'm gonna put him. I might put him above Acrobat. I don't know. I think I will. First Officer is so strong, dude. First Officer is so freaking strong. He has like what, 3 bad matchups and Clown, and I think that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he has many bad matchups. Officer, he's just an insanely consistent rescuer. He has 2 pocket watches, which is just really, really good for getting to the chair. Pocket watch is such a good item to get to the chair with. Most hunters, if you play well, if like the officer jukes them pretty well, most hunters are not going to hit you. Some will. It just undeniably does happen. Sometimes the hunter just like knows where you are, gets a little bit lucky, gets a good swing. But in most situations, Officer is just insanely, insanely strong. He has very few bad matchups. His decoding is only minus 20, and with every watch use, he gets a 7% buff. He's such a consistent rescuer. He's so insane, so strong. I don't know what else to say. And like, if you chase him, his chair time is forever. Like, he has a 72-second on chair base. And that's way too long. Like, if you chase an officer, you're getting a draw. You just are. Even Anne. Like, Anne's like, oh, Anne, you get a bad matchup. Just use Pocket Watch to, like, delay the first hit as long as you can. Or try not to get the cat. And, like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. He's just so good. He's so solid. He's a contender for top 5. I don't know if I'm going to put him in top 5, but I think he is a very good contender for top 5. Just because he has insane matchups. His rescuing is so strong. And he doesn't decode that bad. And when even that case is like he decodes faster after rescue because his watch gives him a decoding debuff, or gives him a decoding buff, 7% each for a total of -6 decoding when he uses both watches. Next up, we have Barmaid. I'm gonna put Barmaid in probably. I'll put her bottom of A. I'll put her in bottom of A. Barmaid's good. I mean, there's not really much else to say about her. Like, she's a decent kiter. She's getting power crept a little bit just because, you know, hunters can kind of rush her down a little bit more. Maybe if she had like an extra second or two that would like make her drink finish a second or two faster, that would really, really help her, I think. But I would say overall, she's just very solid. You know, giving a drink to yourself mid-kite can turn into a 3-hit serve if you get it off. It can be pretty hard because a lot of the time, the timing with like rotation and taking first hit usually means the trait will be up by the time her drink, you know, is about to go off. So a lot of times will just blink to finish it off. So some barmaids won't even use it and they'll just drink on rebound or something. It's hard. This character is like really awkward to play sometimes with the timing of trait and whatnot. So you kind of have to delay the trait as long as you can. When you kite out the bottle, you can actually like sometimes get a second one. It can be really, really good. Again, this character does have good potential, but because she is a raw kiter, I can't really put her too much higher. Now, when paired with the Seer, she is like very, very broken. I will say she's very, very good. I mean, not broken, but she's very, very good when paired with Seer. But you know, that's obviously team comp, not solo character. I don't really think I put her much higher than A. Her support that she offers is really good. You know, being able to give a drink to the rescuer can be so important. Like, just giving them a drink by passing to their side and then moving on to the next one, and then having the rescuer go for a second rescue can be so strong. So overall, I think she's a very solid, strong character. She's not, I wouldn't call her game changing though. Like, I can't put her in S or A+ to me because she's just not game changing, and her kiting by herself isn't strong enough. Even with touch effect, because to get touch effect, you actually have to get the drink off. I can't really put her higher than A tier, but I do think she's quite a strong survivor. I think she's very good. Next up is going to be Postman, and I'm going to put Postman probably... I think I'll put him right above Embalmer. Now, this might be a bit of a controversial take, but I think Postman's quite good. So in the past, I used to have Postman like all the way down in here. I thought Postman was very, very bad, but he got that buff a while back that like allows Wick to stun the hunter and give them like the 3-second slowdown. I think that saved Postman, bro. That Wick buff actually saved Postman because he gets Wick, what, every 45 seconds, I think? So you get like a stun every 45 seconds. This character basically has 3 kiting resources, all like cycling with each other, right? So if you play Flywheel or Knee Jerk, you can time those in between. Like it's really weird. Postman, you can like almost always have an ability every like 10 seconds if you play Knee Jerk, and you can just time everything within each other, right? So like you'll take a window vault, get distance. The hunter starts catching up, use Wick, or use like Letter at first. Use Letter, give yourself speed boost, run a little bit away, use your broken windows, then use Dog, and then use broken windows again, but on a pallet this time. And like eventually like these things will start, the timing of things will start going into each other. Like once your broken windows is on cooldown, oh, the Dog's back up, let's use the Dog. Oh, now the Dog went on to cooldown. Oh, my Letter's back up, let's use the Letter. And now my Letter is finally gone, let me use my broken windows again. And then it's like, oh, by the time the broken windows is gone, your Dog's back up. So it's like each time, if you can cycle through your kiting resource with Postman, you can last for a good long time. And even full kite Postman just kind of adds on to that, where it's like you use this resource when this is on cooldown, use this resource when this is on cooldown. Because the Dog buff just really, really helps him. And if you miss the Dog, it's only a 16-second cooldown, so you get it back pretty quick. Now again, missing the Dog does really, really hurt because it can just kill him, but it is possible to kite without it if something else is up. You just kind of have to rely on something else. But yeah, the character's solid. He can provide global support. I do value global support characters very, very high. He can, give out the decoding letter. He can give out a rescuing letter. He can open up gates faster with the hope letter. He can give out, the broken windows letter. All the letters can be very, very strong. Can help out the kiter, can help out the rescuer, can help out the decoder. He's very versatile, and that's why I really like Postman. He's, again, doesn't have any game-changing broken factor about him. He's just very solid. And I think he's quite balanced too. I kind of like Postman because I think he's just a very balanced character right now. He was very weak when his Wick just didn't really do much. But now you can even threaten balloon harassment with this character. Like I've seen a Postman run in, get Wick support, and then that buys enough time for the last cipher. You can just buy a couple. If you need 2 extra seconds, sometimes Postman can be the one to buy you those couple extra seconds, which is really, really important. So yeah, I'd put him A tier. I think Postman's quite strong. Moving on to Gravekeeper, and I think Gravekeeper is also a contender for top 5. I think Gravekeeper is insane right now. I'm gonna put him right here. right below Acrobat. He could even be above Acrobat. You could be above First Officer. I just need to see more time. Grave is so good in this meta, guys. He is so good in this meta. I don't know who at NetEase mains this character, but they just buffed this character and buffed this character, and they just kept buffing him. Like, for the past year, they just kept buffing and buffing and buffing Gravekeeper. This character used to have just shovel every 20 seconds. That was it. And now it's every 13 seconds, and he can explode out of the shovel and still, like, keep his shovel. He can, like, shove the hunter with his shovel, and he gets into the shovel faster. And now when he's getting hit during his animation of getting into the shovel, he doesn't lose his shovel. Like, he got so many buffs, dude. He got so many buffs, and he's so consistent. Basically, you can make, good Gravekeepers can make their shovels last forever, dude. Like, they just use their shovels in tandem with each other, and they keep the durability where sometimes you still have 2 shovels endgame, which is just absolutely insane. If you ever chase a Gravekeeper, it should be an automatic 3 Cypher Kite. I think unless he's just up against a terrible matchup, which I don't even know what a bad matchup for Gravekeeper is, he should always 3 Cypher Kite. If you ever chase a Gravekeeper, it should always be 3 Cyphers. Like, guaranteed. I see no way a Gravekeeper should kite less than 3 Cyphers if he knows what he's doing. Like, I don't know what matchup would allow him to kite less than 3 Cyphers, but Grave should always kite 3 Cyphers. That is the way I see it. I mean, maybe against, like, Goatman or, like, Hullabaloo, but, like, obviously those guys are banned. But I don't know. Maybe a Sangria, it might be a little bit... I know he's not the best into Sangria, so maybe not against Sangria or Ivy either. But I think most characters should just always 3 Cypher Kite. There's just no excuse. He's just that strong. And his rescuing is very solid. There's very, very few characters that he can get stuff by. He does have to worry about Terror Shock, of course, but this character is just so consistent, and he only has a minus 15% decoding debuff, which is really not that bad. I don't know what to say. He's just so good. His rescuing is so strong. You can't chase him, otherwise it's 3 Cyphers. He can literally body block people out the gate if he has shovel still for endgame. He's good in all phases of the game. Like, he just is. He's just so strong. Cooldowns are very short. He's just so good. Grave is so good. And all for a minus 15 on decoding. It's very small decoding. Next up, we have Prisoner, and I think Prisoner is very good. I almost want to put him A+, but I think he might be top of A. I think Prisoner is very good. Shock is just a really good ability. You know, if played well, you should get 3 shocks a game, which can really, really help. You can shock into pallet stun if you're really good. Shock to me is so good because it's kind of like a built-in flywheel. It feels to me like a built-in flywheel. It's very easy to use. The range is pretty big. It can be very game-changing versus some characters like Wheel. You can stun him to, cancel full presence. You can stun BQ to cancel her mirror. There's a lot of characters that you can use the stun against and just perform really, really well against them. You can, again, like Postman, use him as a temporary harasser to buy like a couple extra seconds. You can't really react to the stun either. It comes out too fast. It's like a frame 1, I think. So it's like Postman, you can react to the dog at least, but Prisoner, you cannot react. You kind of just have to respect it. And then he's a good kiter. He has no debuff. And if he has Flywheel or Knee Jerk, he can just use those and then use his shock, and he should be able to force blink. Like, this character is a good kiter. And the thing is, he's usually put in good areas, so it's like, even though he's not like as strong as some other characters kiting, he's still very solid because he's usually paired with a good area. Most of the time, prisoners aren't spawning in trash areas, so you're gonna have like the strongest area to kite with, Knee Jerk or Flywheel, and then a shock. And some I'm assuming nobody's bringing full kite, by the way. I think full kite you should not bring into rank. I will always be always bring borrowed time person into rank. But Prisoner doesn't even need to run Knee Jerk. He can run both, or either. He can run either Flywheel or Knee Jerk, and he can make it work. It's kind of just hunter dependent at that point, or like preference dependent, or like spawn dependent. I don't know what to say. He decodes really fast. He's very good at like finishing up ciphers across the map. Long distance decoding is really stupid. It's kind of game breaking because like you can work on a cipher that you don't have to cross the map towards. So if a hunter's pressuring down the final cipher, it can be really annoying when there's a prisoner because they can't leave that cipher for certain increments. Otherwise, the prisoner will just like pop it from afar, and that can be really, really annoying. But Prisoner is just a very consistent survivor, and that's what I like about him, is his consistency. and getting ciphers done. Sometimes it's like, oh, I can't get that cipher done, it's too far. Well, the prisoner will finish it up, right? Or the rescuer cipher wants to you want to finish up the rescuer cipher because it's super dangerous. It's like mid, right? The hunter can press that so easily. Oh, we'll just have the prisoner finish it while they go for the rescue. And if they go to disconnect it, then it's a free rescue, you know? That's why I just love Prisoner. I think he's a very, very good character. Very good kiter. Not broken by any means, but just really, really solid. So I'd probably put him A tier. Just very, very, very good character. Next up is going to be Melly. Next up is Melly, and I think Melly, unfortunately, is probably right here. Maybe lower. I would put her right here. I think that Melly has potential to be very, very good. I know she's getting a buff upcoming, which will actually help her out a lot. I've seen like the difference in like how her bees work now. I feel like it's a lot better. She could shoot up the tier list, but this is pre-buff Melly, so I think she's gonna fall here. The issue about Melly is she is good, but right now she just doesn't offer anything to the team that's like really, really game-changing, right? She's just like a good kiter. Her support is okay, but it's very inconsistent, and it takes up a lot of time. There are times when entomologists will send their bees across the map, and it's like, oh, you bought the kiter like 2 seconds of distance. Uh-oh, but you didn't decode for 30 seconds. So it's like, would I rather buy the kiter 2 seconds of distance, or would I rather decode for 30 seconds? That's the issue with Melly is like, it's different from Seer, where the Seer also doesn't decode, but it's like the person will ping help me, and then if the person pings help me, he should be sending the owl within like the next 10 seconds, right? Whereas Melly is like, you have to spend so much time setting up your bees, and it's just like the decoding that you miss out on it can really, really hurt. So unless you're like right next to you or close nearby, it's usually not the best to send out your bees because you're just gonna miss out on so much decoding. And there have been matches where we've actually lost because there's been Mellys that have been sending out their bees like the entire game, and then they're not decoding. And by the time the person's like on second chair, they just finished their cipher, and then they get TP'd on with no item, and then they're just dead. And it's like, okay, we probably could have just cipher rushed that whole time, and we would have been fine. I don't know. I love Melly, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love her, but I feel like with time, she's just getting worse and worse, and it really feels bad. I do think her solo kite is pretty decent, though. It's not the best. It's decent. I think it's pretty solid. It's doable. It's workable. It's just not as strong as it used to be. I know she used to be like one of the best kiters in the game like 4 years ago or something, but sadly now she is just in a meta that doesn't really favor her, which is kind of sad because I really love Melly. She's my favorite survivor, but I can't really put her any higher than like decent A. She very well even could be like on the same level down here, but maybe my bias puts her a little bit higher. Next up is going to be Painter, and I think Painter's decent. I think I'd probably put Painter probably like right above Melly. Thing about Painter is he has like a lot of good tools. I would put him higher in tournaments. But he's got double painting, which is good. It buys time. You can get the little speed boost whenever you put down the painting. So you have a 4% speed boost when you put down both paintings, 2% if one. You have the no after half, which is insanely good. I'm sorry, the no after half on Painter is insanely useful. Because it gives so much breathing room for the rescuer, dude. It really does. The rescuer can choose to come in early or come in late, and it really doesn't matter because it's a painter on chair. And Painter can support with his paintings too. Like his painting support isn't bad. Now, granted, he doesn't really have an item at the start, so he is very weak to certain characters. He absolutely like just gets destroyed to characters like Bloody Queen. Like a Bloody Queen should never get. He should never be able to force trade against a Bloody Queen unless he like just has flywheel or like he positions himself very well. He should always kind of get cooked to a good BQ. And he just has like a lot of very bad matchups, but I think like just his kit is good, but I feel like he's just kind of like that draw survivor, right? Like I feel like he's a very good draw survivor, but I don't know. Painter's just kind of a weird character to rate because I feel like he can be really, really good, but also he can be really, really bad. It's just very matchup dependent, position dependent. And it's just, he's a very awkward character, I will say. He's a very awkward character, but I think he's fun, and I think he can work well, but I would probably put him down here. Next up is going to be Batter, and Batter I'm going to put in A+, probably right behind Wildling. Batter, I will say, when used at his peak level, He is insane, bro. This character can literally carry games on his own. You'll actually see a lot of it's funny, I watch pro hunters a lot, and it seems like they always just love playing batter. Like whenever hunters play survivor, they always play batter. It's so funny because they want to harass. They know harassment is how to win. Batter's harassment capabilities are absolutely insane. When played extremely well or positioned very well, he technically has infinite items. If the hunter doesn't really respect him super hard, a lot of hunters will respect him, but it also like just gives him a lot of positioning and timing if they do break his ball. He's a very good kiter. He can kite most things pretty well. His vaulting is insanely fast. You should probably never chase a batter unless you're just a character that can deal with him. But I feel like most cases this character can be very, very strong. Now he does have quite a few bad matchups. Excitement does hurt him, of course. But I do think this character can be really strong. His decoding really does hurt though, so if the harassment doesn't go off fully, his lack of decoding is really gonna hurt the team, especially since Batter is a harasser and not a rescuer. So usually if you have a rescuer, you're gonna have really, really slow decoding. Let's say, for example, you have Mercenary and Batter, you have minus 45 decoding. If you don't have a decoder on that team, you're gonna decode very slowly. So the kites are gonna have to be good and the harassment's gonna have to happen. And if it doesn't, you're not getting that win. Like, it's gonna be hard. But Batter is insanely game-changing. I would say he has one of the craziest harassment potentials in this entire game. But he's also one of the hardest survivors in this game to play harassing. His kiting's not so bad, but like if you're trying to harass with Batter, he's one of the hardest harassers to play at top level because there are so many ways to deal with Batter for like most of the characters. And Batter does have ways with dealing with them as well, but it's just he's so hard, bro. There's a reason why this character is very rarely played and very, very, very few reps in tournament is because he's just too hard. It's just he's just too hard. I could even put like Prospector and Batter in their own tier. I might do this just for like consistency's sake. I might put these like next to each other and just put them in like a game changing, but it just might not be worth because they're so hard. But also I think Prospector's a little more consistent. I think I still will put Prospector above here because he's just a little more consistent because of his decoding. I value characters that don't have decoding debuffs super, super highly. That's why you'll see me put Batter lower than Prospector. I do think Batter's a better harasser than Prospector and probably a better kiter too. But it's the only difference is he decodes so much slower, minus 20, whereas Prospector is 100%. So that is quite literally the only reason Batter is lower is because I value Cypher Rush in a meta where Cypher Rush is the best way to win nowadays. Whereas Prospector still can harass, it's just not as effective as a Batter can, but it's the decoding, bro. I love the decoding that Prospector brings as opposed to Batters. Next up is going to be Toy Merchant. And I think this one's going to make a few people upset. I don't think Toy Merchant's that good. I might even put her in B tier. I think Toy Merchant's kind of bad. She has to spawn in a good area, which is not good because usually you want to spawn, a decoder in a bad area. So if you have a decoder, she's automatically taking their spot. This character, I'm sorry, like her catapult is good, but she's just been power crept. I'm sorry, like she's in a meta where she doesn't fit very well. A lot of the time she's played with like a backup Tide as well. Like they'll put her in a broken area and then she'll just catapult in for Tide. Cause it's really hard to chase her in like difficult areas. But what you can also do, what I've seen some hunters do, I've seen a Hermit do this a couple times. On Lakeside, she'll spawn Big Boat. He'll spawn left, so he locks the Cypher. He'll chase somebody, try to get one hit on them, then he'll just warp to the Toy Merchant at shore because she'll probably be there because she can't decode Big Boat because it's locked off, right? Her support isn't really the best anymore. I think she still can work. I might just put her in B tier here. But her kite, if she doesn't have catapult, like she's cooked. She's just dead. Like her kite is so mid without it. Like all she has is raw kite, which just really isn't the best. And there are a lot of hunters as well that can just straight up deal with it. Like they're just faster. They can shoot her out of the air. Like Hermit, Wax can also shoot her out of the air. Hunters even like Nightmare are probably gonna get her before she even puts a freaking thing down. If you're insanely fast, like Sangria, Percy, Wheel, Clown, like they're just gonna catch up instantly. BQ can just mirror to like. There's just so much counterplay. Lizard can just jump up to anywhere that you go. I don't know, dude. Like this character, unfortunately, her kiting and support are just not that great. I'm putting her in B tier because I think she's just slightly below average. I think, again, she still can work. Her support still exists. It's not like she's completely worthless and garbage. It's just that she's very weak in today's meta up against a lot of hunters. She just does not have favorable matchups into a lot of hunters. But I would still consider her to have like potential. She still can do work for the team. But there are just obviously stronger survivors. It's more of a... Her ability is okay, but these guys are just better. You know, everybody up here, they're just better. You know, that it's just the case. Like, it's like, okay, your ability's fine, but everybody up here is just better. Next up is going to be Patient. This is before Patient's buff. Patient's getting an upcoming buff where he has armor on his hook and doesn't lose his hook if he gets hit out of it. I don't know if they're going through with that fully, but we'll see. Right now, I think Patient's pretty good. I would probably put Patient in A+. I think he's just a good kiter. He can be played as a rescuer. His hooks get him good distance. He's been getting a few good adjustments to where he can now like change his hook to vaulting or not vaulting. If you know all the good hook spots, his character can be very, very strong. He's a good kiter. He should always force trait unless he just has a terrible matchup. I know he suffers a bit against Percy. He suffers against Geisha. A couple other characters. I think he's not the best versus Clown. But I don't really know. He does have some tricky matchups, right? He does have some tricky matchups. Obviously, Goatman, he got destroyed by the Goatman's band. You know, not the best matchups across the board. Does have some pretty bad matchups into certain hunters, but I feel like overall his matchups are like pretty solid. Just being able to get like that amount of distance that quickly is just really, really good. Yeah. Overall, I'd just say he's A+. No harassment or anything like that, so he can't change a game completely. But he can also be played as a backup rescuer. You know, he'd be played with Tide. You got to be a little confident with him to play Tide, but you can play Tide with Patient. Overall, I'd put him A+. I think he's very solid. Next up is Psychologist, and I'm putting Psychologist in S tier. She's a 3-hit survivor. That is it. She's just a 3-hit survivor, and she doesn't really have a bad matchup outside of Breaking Wheel. I think that's like her worst matchup. There are some that are like she's gonna just kind of get run down by, probably. But like you're a 3-hit survivor. You are a 3-hit survivor guaranteed. You are basically just a rock hider with a Seer Owl guaranteed, which is so important. And if you can delay the first hit for like 40 seconds as Ada, you're most likely kiting 3 ciphers. Delaying the first hit is the most important thing you can do as Ada. If you rotate against a hunter, and then you avoid the first hit for like 20 seconds, that should be around 40 seconds. Obviously, it's harder versus some really, really fast hunters. She can struggle a little bit against the characters that can catch up to her really, really fast. But Ada is just really, really strong. She's just so incredibly strong. You can quite literally walk in a straight line with this character sometimes, and it can be 3 ciphers. You just like drop a couple of pallets and just walk in a straight line, be 3 ciphers. She's probably the easiest character, in my opinion, to play the game with. Very, very consistent. You can run either Flywheel or Knee Jerk. Knee Jerk is a little more preferred, just so that she can keep making distance. Because she's kind of a tank. She's not, the point of Ada is not to like kite. It's to just kind of tank and make distance, and that's it. It's like just get distance with Knee Jerk, and then just that's it. Very strong character. I'm putting her S tier because she also like Wi-Fi heal as well. She can heal from a distance if she's not chased. She can brute force a rescue by taking 2 hits, which is really strong. Even in tournament, they bring Tide Ada just so they can brute force it. You should not bring Tide Ada in rank, but that's only tournament. She's good. She's very, very solid character. 3 hits is always going to be so important. Just incredibly, incredibly tanky character. Provides so much utility to the team. So, yeah, I would just say having Ada on your team is always good. She will always fit onto like every single team comp as long as there's like a rescuer. She does need a rescuer to like probably work to her fullest capability. But you know, every team should have a rescuer. Psychologist, S tier to me. She's very, very strong. Next up is going to be Novelist. Now, this one might be a little controversial to some people. I think Novelist is very good. Let me see here. This is tough. I don't know if I can order S tier. S tier might be a little too hard to order. S tier is a little too hard to order. I'm going to keep S tier unordered. I think maybe A tier as well. I don't know. Maybe I'll just say these aren't ordered. I think A tier is actually pretty ordered. I don't think I can order S tier. The more I'm looking at S tier, I don't think I can order it. Like, these characters are just so versatile in so many situations. I think Novice is very good. I think Novice is very, very strong. I think he should be able to kite out most characters. Again, does have his bad matchups. He really struggles into Dream Witch. He really struggles into Percy. But I think most other characters he can deal with without too much trouble. Ivy, if she's not banned, he'll struggle with a little bit. But most other characters he can do well against. Most other characters, I would see Novelist and be like, yeah, I'll take that. Like he's very good against a lot of the cast, I would say. Like the swap into Palette Sun is just such a very, very good trick. And a lot of hunters will play around it. Some hunters even bring excitement just for Novelist. But overall, I think Novelist is very strong. He has very, very good matchups across the board. His bad matchups do feel really bad. Like Dream Witch feels really bad. Honestly, I really don't like playing Novelist into a Dream Witch. But for the most part, I would say like he just kites very well. His resource comes back really fast. You can play knee jerk or fly with him. He's versatile. He can get rescues pretty well easily because he can just swap with the hunter, and a lot of hunters will position themselves to be like parallel to you, and then they'll just like walk up to you at the chair. But if they do that, that means you can get to the chair, so it's like you don't even have to use your swap. But then it's like, oh well, what hunter is it? You know, is it like a campy hunter? Could be still hard. I don't know. I enjoy Novelist. I think he's quite strong. I'm putting in S tier because I think his kiting is really strong. He can even support too. He can't like balloon harass, but his support is strong. Overall, I just think Novelist is very versatile and strong character. He works in so many different situations and only has like 5 bad matchups maybe. Those bad matchups do feel bad, but he doesn't have that many bad matchups. So overall, I really like Novelist. Next up's gonna be Small Child. I think Small Child is pretty average, slightly below average actually. There's just so many hunters that just run her down. I'm sorry, like she's just not that good. She can be good on certain maps. She does have like support capability. She can warp in. Little Girl does have the potential to be game changing, but like most hunters are just gonna chase her, and if she like leeches onto somebody, like that's 2 people not decoding. It can work, but it's just on average, on paper, she's just not that good. She's not that good. Paige, I'm sorry, it's just not that good of a kiting item. It's okay. Like it's decent, but it's just not the best. A lot of hunters just back up and then immediately just catch up. You know, like there's so many speed boosting hunters in this meta that can just like avoid her Paige for a half a second and then just immediately catch up. It's also very reactionary. That's the thing, is her Paige, like it's not an immediate item. It like comes out like a second after she drops her, or like a second and a half after. I don't know. I think like a full second it takes to activate, and it's so easy to react to as a hunter. And she just gets run down by so many like fast hunters and distance hunters, and sadly she's just not that good. I don't know what to tell you. The people on NEU love this character. Like I see this character at least like 3 times a day in rank. She's not good. Like she's very just slightly below average. Her buff did help her. Like her rescuing is decent if she can get to the chair and do the little Paige rescue trick. Like that Paige rescue trick could be very, very solid. Overall, just slightly below average. I don't know. She's just not that strong. Not really that strong. I can't really say anything other than that. Next up is gonna be Weeping Clown. Weeping Clown, to me, I think he's top of A+. I don't know if I'm putting him in S tier. I think I put him in S tier last season. I think I'm gonna put him in A+ tier this season, just because of, you know, all the characters that can just kind of catch up to him. I do still think he's very strong. His support is very good. He's very good at getting distance. His rescue is very strong. He's still minus 15 on Cypher Rush, which is kind of annoying because Weeping Clown usually isn't your solo rescuer. He's usually played alongside another rescuer, and if he is your solo rescuer, I mean, it can work, but it's a little risky. I think he could be S tier. I think there's a very real possibility, but like this character is just very solid. You know, his rocket cooldown isn't really that bad. The buff that he gets after it explodes, like the little speed boost, is really nice because he gets like an extra speed boost after the initial speed boost of the rocket. And I think the only one who can really just... There's only like 3 characters that can really just catch up to him immediately, and that's like, what, Sangria, Percy, Wheel. Maybe Naiad if she has 2 dashes, maybe Nightwatch if he has all his dashes, I don't know. Maybe Anne if she has double jump. But most hunters cannot just like catch up immediately to Rocket, especially if you chase him first. Like they're probably not catching you unless you're like Sangria, Percy, Wheel. He has a lot of good matchups. The rocket can be used to support in multiple different ways, which makes him very nice and versatile. He can stun with the rocket to force balloon drop. It can actually stun through walls, for those who didn't know. He can support with getting distance, post-rescue. Like, he can be very good. This character is very, very versatile, very, very good. Does have the decoding debuff, but overall, I like him a lot. And next up is going to be Professor. Professor is, in my opinion, he's arguably... no, I think I'll put him A+ tier. I think I'll put Professor right here. I think Professor is very strong. I have had Professor way, way lower in the past. I think Professor's very good right now. He's a very good kiter. Because his scale now works against like so many things. Like I think it works against 100% wax. I don't think it works on... It doesn't work on like Naiad Water or something like that, but it does work against like a lot of control effects, which is really nice. It's really good against like Ivy as well. And if you have good ping, it does require good ping to play Professor, I think. If you have good ping, you should be able to react to most Hunter swings, I think, because he does slow them down by like, what, 0.17 seconds, which helps you react a lot more. Unless the Hunter's swing is just really, really fast. Like, it was like Sangria or like Blackguard or Clown, it's going to be a little harder. But if the Hunter has a very slow swing, you could probably react to it with Professor without too much trouble. And he should get 3 scales a game. Like, on average, this character should get 3 scales a game. 2 at worst. But you could even get up to 4 if you're using the scales on a control effect. Again, not the best matchups across the board. He does have some pretty weak matchups, but he does have some really, really good matchups as well. The fact that he's able to eat a single chip hit can be really, really helpful, too. I think, like, he has a bad matchup into, like, what, Clown, and I think that's it. I don't know really who else, honestly. I'm trying to think, maybe, like, a couple other characters, but... Overall, this character just got like a really nice buff a while back, and I think he's a lot more consistent now, and I think he's strong. I think Professor is a very strong kiter. I'm not going to put him much higher than that, though, because his harassment capabilities is not existent. I think I might put him actually a little bit lower. I think I'll put him at the bottom A+, actually, the more I think about it. I'll put him at the bottom A+. He might be A tier as well, I don't know. I'll put him at the bottom A+, because he can't really harass. He can, like, body block with scale, I guess, and, like, he can provide scale for the kiter, but scale is... It can work. I wouldn't say it's super game-changing, but it can work. I'll put him at A+. I think A+ is a really good position for him. Next up is Anti. Anti's broke. Anti's undeniably S tier. I don't know if I would put her... I think I'll put her top 5. Yeah, I'm putting Anti top 5. Anti's broke. This character, like, ever since she came out, she was, like, God. And there's an argument where she is the best survivor in the game. I'm not going to say who's the best survivor in the game here. I don't know if I know who's the best survivor. I think I have, like, a pretty solid top 5. But I would say Antiquarian is definitely top 5. Yeah, she's so solid. Thing about Antiquarian is, even if she doesn't harass, she's a very, very good kiter. She has ways of dealing, I think, with almost every single hunter. Even her ones with bad matchups, because she has flip and spinning flute, right? For example, Percy. Percy counters Anti, right? Because he can't get stunned. Well, Anti, if she can get into a decent position, she can spin to tight kite and then flute to jump over something, right? And that can be really, really strong against Percy. That can, like, absolutely just make him crumble. It is very annoying playing Anti to Percy, in my personal opinion, because it's just like, it just feels bad, honestly. But, like, against most characters, she has, like, ways of dealing with them, right? Like, a BQ, I would say, has the advantage versus Antiquarian, but Antiquarian never feels powerless. It always feels like there's something you can do if you can just get into the right position. And, you know, a lot of the times it can be really, really difficult. But the thing about Antiquarian is that she almost always has a tool to work with, right? She has 6 flute usages if you don't, like, use it up by spins. And I think flute jump, you might only get, like, 5. But for the most part, you usually get, like, around 6 flute usages, 5 to 6. And they're all very strong usages, right? They're all very strong usages. And her ability can be used against almost every single hunter. Some harder than others, but it can be used against almost every single hunter. And that's why she's so versatile, she's so good. And she can harass, too. Like, it's not just her containment. Her harassment is pretty strong as well. Again, not easy, but it is very strong. And undeniably, Antiquarian is top 5. In my opinion, even if you play counters to her, she still can work against those counters because it is Antiquarian at the end of the day. All hail Chi-Shi-Yi, the Lord of Brokenness. Moving on to Composer, though. Composer, this pains me to put Composer here, but I don't think Composer is very good. I might just get rid of the B+ tier, actually. I think I'm going to get rid of the B+ tier, and we'll move Little Girl into B tier. I'll do this. To me, Composer, I love Composer. He is my second favorite character in this game, but I'll admit, he's just not that good. He's just not. His decoding is pretty quick, +20, and you'd think the speed boost that like his tuning fork would be good, and it is, but he has a lot of bad matchups. He gets outpaced by so many fast hunters, and he doesn't have any ability that really changes the game. He just is a decoder. His tuning fork cooldown is too long. It's 50 seconds. You'll probably get it like maybe 3 times a game probably, but unless you have a cheerleader or if you get like a really, really good kite. But most hunters can deal with Composer. Like most hunters see a Composer and like, I'm going for him. That's an easy chase. Like he's really not that bad. And if you don't use the tuning fork in a good area, you're kind of cooked. Like a lot of hunters will just like kind of cut off your tuning fork so you can't even use it sometimes, or it'll just be stuck in like a trash area. He's not bad, but he's not strong. That's the issue. Like he has tools to work with, but they just aren't the best in this meta. And so many characters can just outpace him. You know, even a simple character like Clown, for example, just like catches up instantly. Like tuning fork does nothing to Clown. Maybe you'll make it to a pound of time, but the chances of you doing that are not very high. So yeah, I wouldn't say Composer's the best character, which is sad because I really do like Composer. And it's kind of hard to buff him because if you buff him, he could become really, really stupid and really, really cheesy. Next up is going to be Journalist. I'm going to put Journalist probably right below Perfumer, maybe right here. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like all 4 of these characters have a contender to be A+ tier. I might put it at the bottom of A+, actually. He's just so good. Yeah, Journalist is good. She's a very good like average character. What's good about Journalist right now is she has like a pretty good matchups into a lot of characters that are really decent in the meta right now, like Clown. Clown's been played a lot more into the meta, and she's very, very good against Clown. Her rescuing is very solid. The only issue is that her containment is not the best. It is not the best. There are a lot of hunters that kind of struggle with her, but there's also a ton that just like don't care about her. Like Anne, a good Anne, you can have like the doofus take the cap, but like a good Anne is not gonna let that happen. There's so much counterplay to Journalists, right? There's so much counterplay. You can hit around the doofer, which most top hunters know how to do. She's very rarely played at top level because she's very, very difficult to play at top level. I think last time I made this tier list, people got mad at me when I said she was kind of a free character at low level. People took me out of context in that, and now there's like a whole meme of everybody thinking that I said Journalist no skill. I only said she was no skill at like low level, which does apply to other characters, but it's like, I think the reason why I said that was because I've seen a lot of Journalist compilations where the hunter is clearly like an elk or like a crocodile, and they just like keep spamming doofus without much thought, and then it's just like, wow, I just kited. I don't know. But at top level, this character is very, very difficult. Don't get me wrong. This character is probably one of the most difficult characters to play at top level because the positioning and timing that it takes to use the little Orpheus is very, very difficult. But again, against like some of the more annoying hunters right now in the meta, like even Nightmare is like coming back into the meta somewhat. And like she matches up well into Nightmare. She's actually like a very, very good matchup into Nightmare, which is kind of funny because, you know, Alice beats Orpheus. I like that. But you know, like I said, Clown, even Gamekeeper, she's pretty good against. She's good against like a lot of the cast, but just you have to be really, really good with her, and that's what's scary about Journalist. And the really, really patient hunters, it's gonna be tough, dude. It's gonna be tough. But yeah, I think there's potential for Journalist to be a little higher than this, but I haven't seen anybody perform with her at that level yet, and I think most Journalists aren't at this level yet consistently. Because I see a lot of Journalists out there that just like, they are game changing, but can you be like that every game? probably not. It's a little too hard, but some games, you know, journalists can just pop off. So she very well has the chance to be like somewhere in the A+ tier, but for now I think I'm gonna put her here just because of her lack of consistency. That's my only problem with journalists, is her lack of consistency right now. Next up is Aeroplanist, and if you are an NAEU watcher, which most of you are, you're probably going to be like, what are you thinking? This character is top 5. Aeroplanist is so good. I'm sorry, this character is so good. We don't have many Aeroplanists on NAEU. In fact, he is one of the least used characters on the server, which is really sad because Aeroplanist is broken. He is so good. He has 3 jetpacks and a hover to kite with. So if you kite this, if you're getting chased with this character, unless the character is like insanely rushed down, you should be able to force out trait without too much trouble. Even then, you should be able to force out trait without too much trouble as Aeroplanist. He can rescue. He's a very, very good rescuer. So he should be bringing Tide. And if you have double Tide, like let's say you bring Merc and Aeroplanist, and then you have like 2 strong kiters, that you should always draw. Like Aeroplanist is so good because he is so insanely versatile. He was the most used character in Koa, guys. In tournaments, there's a reason for this. He was the most used character. Think about that. The most used character in tournaments. And he's barely used on NAEU because people just don't like the way he looks or something. I don't know. I really want to learn Charles eventually because he is insane. I think he's really, really cool. And he's really strong. He is a rescuer. He is played mostly as a rescuer, not as a kiter most of the time. He's mostly played as like backup rescuer. And he has a decoding buff. He decodes at 102% speed. Which, you know, 2% faster, not the best. It can help. Every percent matters. And the thing is, he doesn't just do it for himself. All he has to do is tap the cipher, and all the time, that cipher will have a 2% buff. So if he, like, spawns mid, let's say he spawns... Or maybe he doesn't spawn mid. Maybe he spawns at a cipher, right? And then... Or he's, like, transitioning to a cipher. He can tap a cipher on his way, give it that 2% buff, and then move to a different one. And then whoever comes to that cipher later will have the 2% buff. It's like he applies. So that means they'd be decoding 4% faster overall, you know? So it's like, it's very micro small thing, but it can help out a lot when like 2 extra percent helps. You know, it really does help. So, you know, if he's stuck on decoding duty the whole game, you know, he decodes 102% at 102%. That's really, really good. His debuff is a little annoying. He does drop pallets slower than other survivors, which means you kind of have to drop the pallet very early against certain hunters, or you have to play for a pallet mind game. So that can be very, very frustrating to play with him, but most of the time, this character is just, he's insane. He is just so insane. And in my opinion, he's top 5 because his versatility is so good. He literally fits into every role. He can kite. He can even support with hover, which I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. But his body blocking is decent because when he's near allies, his pallet dropping is fast, and I think if he gets a pallet stun, it lasts longer, which is cool. So he can even do like level of supports. But I would say like his kiting, his rescuing, and his decoding are all like S tier, dude. They're all insane. His support isn't like the greatest, but he can support somewhat. But yeah, his rescuing, his containing, and his decoding are all S tier. I guess A+ tier for decoding. I don't know. He's just insane. He's top 5. I would say he's probably the 4th best of the top 5 right now. He's so strong though. And I wish more people see the vision. I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, but trust me, Charles, you watch top level Asia server, Charles, I'm telling you, bro, he's in like almost a third of the matches. Like you watch any top level Asia server, I'm telling you, there will be a Charles in like 33% of the matches because he's just that strong. And we need more Charles players, bro. We really do. Next up is going to be Cheerleader. Cheerleader to me is probably right here. Right here. Yeah, right here. This is before her buff. Cheerleader to me has just been falling lower and lower and lower in the meta. I think every season I feel like I rate Cheerleader lower and lower. Just because like power creep. You know, like so many hunters can keep up with her nowadays. Her beep beeps are too slow. Like there's a reason she's getting buffed. Her beep beeps like just don't do enough. The nerf that she got like a while back did hurt because her beep beeps don't refresh as fast. There's just a lot of hunters that can just catch up. There's just so many hunters that can catch up nowadays. Her slowdown really does hurt her, and her support is like a little too hard to get off because the hunters like are just stronger. They just got so many buffs, so many like small percent web adjustments that just keep making them slightly better. And it's really hard to get the 28 stacks when supporting. The refresh is really, really good, but but it can hurt because her decoding is also -10, and that's another reason her decoding's -10. If she didn't have the decoding debuff, I would probably put her like a little bit higher, but because she has the decoding debuff, I'm putting her down here because Cheerleader doesn't really offer that much to the team. That's the issue. She really doesn't. Her support is good, but in this meta, it's so hard to make work. I'm kind of hoping that her buff will make her a little bit better, because I think they're making the stacks do like 25 instead of 28, which can help, which is like a full second of I feel like 2 seconds of stack, 1 to 2 seconds of stacks, which can really help. And just in general, I think her speed boost is less effective and doesn't last as long. I think it's like a little lower, so I'm hoping she'll become a little bit better. But like right now, yeah, she's just she's not that strong. She doesn't really offer that much to the team. But like she still is like, I would say better than average, because her ability, the speed boost, can be good. And I feel like she should be able to force blink in a lot of situations, but I feel like, again, it's kind of just matchup dependent. And her support takes a little too long to work successfully. It can work, though. Again, it can work, but it's a little less consistent than these guys up here. That's the thing with Cheerleader, I guess, is what it is. Like, her abilities, like, on paper, like, they're good, but then I look at everybody above her, and I'm like, yeah, they're just better. That's the thing. It's like, it's not that she's bad, it's just that these guys are just better, you know? These guys are just straight, like, everybody up here is just better. Speaking of a better character, Puppeteer. Puppeteer is extremely good. I would put Puppet probably like right here. Puppet is broken. Puppet is a contender for top 5. I think you could argue that Officer, Grave, Puppet, Acro, Mage, Cord, Mech, and Forward. Probably not Ada. I don't think Ada is top 5. I think she's close. And Novice, I don't think these guys are in. But I think you could argue anybody from Forward and up could be in top 5. I think all these guys could be in top 5. Again, it just comes down to personal opinion. I think these 3 all have super high capabilities of being top 5. Even Acro Mage as well. Puppet's just broken. He's a 4-hit survivor. Like, he's literally just a 4-hit survivor. Against a lot of the meta characters, which are single-hit hunters or just like hunters that don't have chips. He works them. He's very, very good. Puppet should always force trait. He literally should always force trait, like, no matter what. He has a few bad matchups. His bad matchups do feel bad, but against a lot of characters, he should just be able to kite very, very well. Like he does struggle against Wax Artist. Wax Artist is actually a pretty tough matchup for him. Wheel's very difficult. Bonbon and Sculptor are a little bit tricky for him too. I would say most other hunters, though, he can deal with. I would say those are probably his trickiest matchups, is like Bonbon, Sculptor, Wheel, Wax, and then maybe Peddler. I don't really know about Peddler. I don't think Peddler is that bad, actually. I don't think Peddler's that bad of a matchup. Fool's Gold is just kind of mid, so I don't think he's the best. I would say unless the hunter is like Wax, Wheel, Bonbon, or Sculptor, the Puppet should do very, very, very well into that hunter. He's just such a good kiter. Like, he is a 4-hit survivor. If you have good ping, you should hit all your puppets. Like, I don't know what to say. He has Undaunted. He can rescue. He can brute force rescues. He can eat a detention hit at if he's at like 1 chip health, he can use Puppet and eat a detention hit, so he can wait mid safely. This character is just insanely strong. It does come with a tough drawback with not being able to heal, but like, you know, he's just, Puppet is so good. And if you chase a Puppet and there's a harasser on the team, oh man, if they get 1 successful harass, you're cooked, because then he just gets a Puppet back every time for every single harass, and that's just, oh man, it feels awful playing against that dude. It really does. But yeah, Puppet's broke. He's so good. Finn is also S tier. I would put Finn, Acro, Finn, and Mage to me are all like the same character, basically, where they just don't really have bad matchups and they just are so good. I don't know who's the worst of the 3. I would honestly probably rate these 3 as the same. Again, I don't really think there's any of these guys are, I would think like Forward and up, these guys are like almost all equal, or at least like different levels of strength in certain aspects. Like, these guys are obviously so good rescuing. These guys are so good kiting or rescuing. Kiting, anything, decoding is so broken. You know, it's like S tier characters. These are just like the meta, bro. These are the meta characters. And Finn is so good. He can literally bring any trait. He can bring knee jerk, flywheel, or tide. Obviously with borrowed. He can rescue because his base kiting is so good. Like he has 2 balls and he can just walk in a straight line versus like 80% of the cast and just that's it. Just force trait. He can even harass with ball. He can support with ball. So he has support capabilities. His decoding is pretty fast. He's only -5, which isn't the worst. But like if you take kite or like harass a little bit, or if you go to rescue, you get like maybe a couple stacks. So you only decode it like -2 or something. I don't know. I think you can get like a total of what +5, or I think it's +5 you can get the total of. I don't know. Or is it +10? I forget. Either way, Finn's very strong, very good kiting. Very versatile kit. He can support, he can kite, he can decode, he can harass, he can rescue, he can do everything. He's just same camp with Mage and Acro. Very well designed, top tier character, I would say. Very good character. Next up is Faro Lady. Faro Lady to me is A-. Might even be B. I don't think Faro is that good. She has a lot of bad matchups. She's a gambler, you know. Like you can play well with Faro. Her Cypher Rush, honestly, I thought it was kind of bad. It's actually like pretty good. I keep thinking Faro Lady's Cypher Rush is not really that good, but it's actually like a little faster than I think it is. But I don't think she's like a winning survivor, you know. I don't think she's really good at getting wins. She's weak versus a lot of characters, especially Anne. Like if you play into an Anne, I'm sorry, you're just gonna get hard countered. With how common Anne is, like it's just really not that viable to me. I don't know, dude. Quite literally, you play Faro and you're up against an Anne, like you're gonna struggle to force trait. I'm sorry. Like most good Annes, like any top level Anne is gonna be able to land their cat on you. And if she doesn't, then like it's the Anne's probably just one messed up. Two, you did juke it, but then now she knows exactly where you are, because if you're not here, then you're right there. I don't know. She just like kind of gets run down by a lot of hunters because she can't really make any distance. I would just say basically she's just like less consistent first officer, except she's a decoder, not a rescuer. Again, can work, but lacks consistency, which is why I'm putting her like kind of just like in that kind of slightly below average tier. Because I think she can work, but she's just slightly below average. That's all I can really say. I'm not the biggest fan of Faro Lady just because of her inconsistencies, but she does offer like some decent stuff to the team with decoding and being able to steal Cypher progress. But I will say she's kind of the last character that you want to play if you're first starting this game, because you're probably going to throw games by accident by stealing Cypher progress. But yeah, again, top level, I would put her A-. Could be B, you know, but not the best, not the best. Next up is going to be Knight, and Knight is tricky. Knight is tricky. I think he actually might be bottom of S, honestly. He's either bottom of S or top of A+. Knight, to me, his rescue is OP, obviously. His rescue is so OP. His decoding is -20, which is fine. But his containing is also quite good. He does have... the only thing that scares me is his matchups. His matchups are a little iffy sometimes, especially Clown. Clown really hurts him, and he really can't do much against Clown. I'll be real with you, he really can't do much against Clown. There's quite a few other characters that can deal with him without too much trouble, but I would say for the most part, I still think he's very solid because his rescuing is very good. His rescuing is just so incredibly good. He's a very game-changing character. He really is good at preventing losses, with just halting the momentum of the hunter by just stopping them with their... He just makes the hunter think, which a lot of time hunters don't have to think in this game. You play like an Unga Bunga hunter, like Clown or Percy. Sometimes you can just like press the dash button and just aim at the survivor and you just win. Whereas sometimes a Knight will be like, oh yeah, I gotta think. Do I use this now? Do I use this now? Or do I wait this out? Or is using stalemate? I don't know. But, you know, sometimes hunters kind of like follow like a basic, you know, usability swing, usability swing, usability swing. Whereas Knight's like, ooh, think about it first. And I do think that value that he applies to the team is really good. There's a part of me that wants to say A+ just because like he does have some pretty bad matchups. Whereas like a lot of the guys up here have like very few bad matchups, or at least they can do something about it with their bad matchups. But like Knight, like into Clown, like really suffers. And I think a couple other characters, not the best. Even like Joseph, who's not the strongest hunter, but like his rescuing isn't the strongest against. I guess like his chip isn't really good against Joseph is what I'm trying to say, but you know, it just depends. It just really depends on like what you're up against. I think overall, I think I would put him at the bottom of S. I think there's an argument for him to be A+, but I think for now I'm gonna put him at the bottom of S just because of how consistent his rescuing is. But I'm gonna need to see I'm gonna see a little bit more. He's played a decent amount on Age of Survivor. I think the top survivor is actually First Knight, and that survivor does very, very good with Knight. But I don't know if I like just because of like some of his bad matchups. I think he's also like kind of somewhat weak to Wax. I think he could be down here as well. But I'm gonna put him up here just for now, bottom of S for now, just because he's just quite strong. He might be like an S- character. I don't know. I think he's quite strong. Next up is Meteorologist. And Meteorologist is, for me, right now, she is just barely outside of the top 5. Meteorologist is so good. She is so versatile. She's bringing Tide a lot in top level Aegis server. Even in tournaments, she's bringing Tide. Her kiting is just so good. She's kind of just like the Acro Mage Fire Investigator logic, except she just is a little more versatile because she can heal. She can support with her Wind Blasts, and Cloud like just turns her into Aeroplanist, and she can rescue. Like she can do everything. She can really do everything. She's not the hardest to play. I do think she requires like a little bit of skill, especially with like the timing of her clouds and whatnot. I do think the higher up you go, the harder she's gonna play because like a lot of hunters know what she's gonna do, so you kind of have to be a lot more patient. I think Meteorologist like requires a lot of patience. She's not like Acro where you can just press the button and jump and you're fine. Mage, you can just press the button and you're jumping, you're fine. She takes like a little more skill than those guys, I think. But overall, I think like she's a very low risk, high reward character. And I think very, very highly of Meteorologist. She might be a little bit lower, but I just think with how versatile she is, she has 3 different abilities. She decodes at 100% progress. I think she just barely does not make top 5. But I think maybe with certain nerfs, she might be top 5 next season. But for now, I'm putting her at the top of S tier. She's played all the time. In tournaments, she's played all the time. On Aegis server top level. She's played a lot in NAU too, and she does very, very well. Next up is going to be Archer. Archer, I think overall, kind of to me is just in the same spot as Batter. Yeah, I think in the same spot as Batter. I'm not gonna count A+ as being like ranked in order. I think these two are probably ranked in order. That everybody else here is probably like slightly even in power. I'm putting Archer in A+ right now. Archer to me is just like she's just high risk potential. Batter to me is like high risk, high reward, right? Archer to me is like high risk, medium reward right now. Because I've yet to see any breakout archers. Because what Archer can do is she can kite pretty well. She has a lot of good matchups, a lot of bad matchups, but a lot of good matchups too. Like the fast hunters she can do very, very well against. But I think what Archer lacks to me right now is consistency. So she might be a little bit lower. I don't know. But I do not want to knock off her. I don't want to like knock her off like into A tier just yet. Partially due just because I've seen some players just really, really make her work. But I think it's just really difficult. And I don't think anybody has really mastered Archer just yet. So she might be a little bit lower here, but I just don't know yet. I don't want to put her in. She's definitely not S tier to me. She's not S tier to me. She's not that game changing. Of course, unless she just has like a really good matchup, you know. This is the overall character strength. I think she can be very game changing if she has a good matchup. But if you have a bad matchup, it's like, what does she do? So overall, I'll put her here. I'll put her at the bottom of A+ for now, just because she's quite inconsistent right now, and I need to see more consistency in the future until I rate her higher. Next up is Escapologist, and Escapologist. I'm sorry, bro. He is so mid. I'm sorry. He's so bad. Literally, I have not seen a single breakout player with this character. Not yet. This character is just, he's so bad, bro. Like, like if you don't know how to play against him, sure, whatever. But like, we're assuming people know what they're doing against him. The fog is so bad. It does nothing. In fact, when I play with an Escapologist, I have never played as him himself. So I can't really rate him super well. But like of all the gameplay that I've seen, this character is just so mid. He's getting buffed. He's getting like quite a few buffs, which does help next season. So I do like that he's getting those buffs. So he could go up the tier list with those buffs. Right now, though, he's just really bad. He's very bad at rescuing. He's very bad at containing. He doesn't give anything to the team. He offers nothing. The smoke doesn't work against half the hunter's projectiles. You know, the smoke that's like advertised to like block hunter projectiles, it doesn't block like half their projectiles. I don't think it blocks, like Cat goes through it, which I don't really call this projectile. Cat goes through it like it's nothing. I think it'd be cool if it would block Cat. Axeboy flares go through it like it's nothing. I don't know about Sculptor statues, but I know quite a few projectiles from hunters that it just goes right through. I know it blocks like Foggy Blade and whatnot, but like, oh wow, you block Ripper Foggy Blade, cool. It's just, he doesn't get any benefit by going inside the smoke. It's so easy to see each other. Like, it's so easy to see the hunter and it's so easy to see the survivor. Like, he's so bad. He's so inconsistent. He's so mid. I have yet to see Escapologist do anything crazy. Like, I think I've maybe seen like an average rescue from him. I was like, oh wow, he did it. Even his like built-in one hit for free thing isn't that good. Like, it's good against maybe like half the cast, whereas the other cast, like half the other cast does not care about it. I don't know. He to me just doesn't seem like the best. I don't know. It's sad because he has a really, really interesting design and his kit feels interesting, being able to like reposition chairs and whatnot, but like I just feel like they need to give him a different item. Like, the smoke is just really stupid. I'm sorry. The smoke is just such a bad item. I would really like to see this character just reworked entirely. Because the smoke is useless. It's Zeus called it aesthetic smoke because it literally is that. It doesn't do anything. It's going to give him like a speed boost in the future, but right now it does nothing. And sadly, Escapologist to me is just, he's just so mid, and I really hate to say it. Now, you might be wondering, why did I not rate Lucky Guy? Why did I not rank Lucky Guy? And this one is gonna make so many people mad, but Lucky Guy is S tier and is the best. This is people are gonna lose it. They're gonna be so confused, but I am not lying to you. I am not lying to you guys. This character, Lucky Guy, after the buffs, brace yourself, has the highest win rate in both rank and tournaments. The highest win rate, Lucky Guy. After his buff, he was able to just get items so fast. That's the thing. In my personal opinion, right now, we are in a very heavy counter pick meta, where if the hunter, like, if you're a solo hunter and you only play one character, you're gonna suffer. But if you are a hunter and if you know how to play like 5 characters, you're gonna be pretty well set off because all you have to do is find a good counter into the opposing team comp. Now, it's not gonna be the easiest if they're only playing meta, but if you can find like, you know, a couple characters in there that are weak to your hunter, you can just counter pick them, right? Lucky Guy can't be counter picked because he gets into the match and he can counter pick you. He'll see what you are and then immediately get an item that counter picks you. That's what he does. He is the most adaptable survivor. That is what he does. And if you don't chase him, guess what? He's a decoder. He gets Mechanic Bot, which he can get way more consistently now after the buff. And he just decodes super fast. Like, he has 50% bot, which can do like what, 50, 60, potentially up to 70% progress. I think that's usually around 50 to 60, I think is what a bot does. So he can, if you don't chase the Lucky Guy, he'll get a Cypher to 50, drop bot, have the bot finish it and go work on a new Cypher. And by the time the first rescue happens, he'll pop 2 Cyphers basically. It's crazy. Like, he Cypher rushes so incredibly fast, and he'll usually leave the bot like at 1% so it can feed Tinnitus for later, or he can put it on the gate. And then like he can come in for rescue with gun. He can use like he can harass with like elbow pad into gun and surprise you. He can use gun into flashlight to buy distance for the kiter. He just has so many items. He can just adapt to everything. And I'm putting him here. I'm a little surprised I'm putting him here myself, but I cannot deny the win rates. He has the highest win rate in rank and tournament. It's ridiculous. This character is so adaptable. And he, even if not, he has veteran speed boost, which gives him like a 2-second speed boost as well. So like any sort of strategy you want to do, you can try out with Lucky Guy. If you take first kite and you're in a good spot, you can get Explorer Book and hide and out gimmick the hunter. You could get gun if it's something super fast. You need to like get distance. You can get Pocket Watch, just kite for 20 seconds for free. If it's a clown, you can get like a Perfume or a decoy and just set it up in a pallet and he can't do anything. Like, you have a way to deal with every single hunter in this game with Lucky Guy. And even if you don't, you have veteran speed boost to transition, and then you can with like your item potentially. And again, if you don't get chased, just get bot and Cypher Rush. That's it. Like, he's basically a decoder now. Like, you have to chase him, otherwise you're cooked. And one of the most broken combinations that I've been seeing, either in tournament and rank, is Lucky Guy plus Mechanic. It turns the match into a 6v1. The Hunter, if it's not a map pressure Hunter, can't do anything about that. Like, if they're chasing, let's say you have Lucky Guy Mech and like a Rescuer and a Kiter, and if they spawn next to the Kiter, they're cooked. They have to chase the Kiter, or like just try to go find the Mechanic. If they get rotated by the Mechanic or the Lucky Guy, they're cooked. Like, it's 6v1 is just so difficult. Even the 5v1 with Lucky Guy, like, it's crazy, dude. Lucky Guy is so adaptable, so crazy right now. And he is getting nerfed, so maybe next season he might not be this strong. But I'm putting him here because it is literally a fact. I know people are gonna be like, what, you're crazy, you're insane, you're stupid. He literally has the highest win rate in rank and tournaments. That says something, bro. That says something. So I can't go against that. Like, it's literally a fact. And if you disagree, you are just objectively wrong, because the win rates are there. It is just straight up there. So I don't know what to say. Argue with the win rates. Argue with statistics if you want to tell me I'm wrong. I don't know what else to say. Like, Lucky Guy literally was the best survivor this season. Again, maybe not next season because of changes and he's getting nerfed, but I don't think he'll be best anymore because like the chest does really like hurt him. He can't like dig up infinite items for free practically anymore. He's gonna take a lot more time, but I still think he'll be good. I still think he'll be like maybe low S tier, but I don't think he'll be the best anymore. But for this season, he was the best. He was the best character in the game, and I can't really say much else. It's literally just the statistics. So that's it. That is the list right there, though. So let me know what you guys think. Again, please keep it civil in the comments. I really don't know what else to say. There's quite a few characters on here. I think like characters that I really need to see more before I can give them a true final rating. Archer, Journalist, Enchantress, Faro Lady, Toy Merchant, Knight, Weeping, a few other characters I would say, maybe Cheerleader a little bit. There's a few characters not fully confident on, like I need to see a little bit more of them. Even Escapologist, I might need to see a little bit more about Escapologist, but I think for the most part, I would put this together, like very similar next time as well. And I would say overall, I don't think the tiers are ordered A+ and above. Maybe like Archer's like, I don't know. I think actually everything from Prospector and below is ordered, I would say. Everything from Priestess and above is not ordered. Actually, no, that's a lie. I guess all these guys are like really, really strong. But I don't know. I guess these ones might be a little lower than like this group. I don't know. The S tier survivors, though, they're all very, very strong. Anyway, that's it for me. It's hard to make tier lists. There's so many factors to consider. This is where I'd put rank right now, currently in the meta. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. This is my thoughts. Either way, that's going to be it for me, though. I'm going to get back out of here before I keep on rambling. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.